Hola Teros, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Waffle House. It's yet another Waffle House. And yeah, we're back. It's been quite a weekend. It's been a good weekend. It would have been a great weekend if not for the fact that Liverpool suck. I mean, that's the only way I can actually describe it. You look at the Spuds team that they're playing, and you expect them to just win at home. It's Anfield. It's a ground. It's hallowed ground. It's a fortress, and they drew. It looked like Spuds were gonna get the points rather than them. But yeah, I won't let it spoil my weekend. City dropped points. We won, and yeah, all seems right in the world. As far as football. But yeah, welcome back to the Waffle House. And yeah, tonight was just going to be a night where we gas bag, man. We talk to the community. We chat about any and everything. So, yeah, let's talk about the weekend. If you're an Arsenal fan, you're having a good one. United also got the win. So yeah, if you're a Spuds fan, you could probably be happy with the fact that your team drew at Anfield. It doesn't really, it doesn't mean that much in the grand scheme of things. When it comes to their survival, a point means a lot, but they still suck, man. Spuds still suck. And then who else? Villa. Unai Emery. I don't know what's up, man. He started so well, and they've just fallen off. They've fallen off a cliff, and it's extremely sad to see, man. Because as Arsenal fans, you want them to beat United. You want them to knock United out. United are third now, and the way they're looking, it looks like they could, rival City for second. So yeah, which is crazy because you know that if United fans finish second, the one thing that they'll say is if we had a real manager, it would be our title. If we had sacked Amber early, you guys wouldn't have won. Like, you got to hit that all summer. Ifs, buts, maybes, you suck. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. But yeah, as far as football weekend, not too bad. Not too bad. I wouldn't say it's too bad for an Arsenal fan. We've got Champions League coming back, which is great, and then follow that up with the Carabao Cup final, which is also great. I'm hoping we get the victory. As far as everything else, I did go to the match yesterday if you weren't around. It was a good experience, man. It's always a good experience. I like going to Arsenal matches because being in the UK, I now realize that I'm very fortunate that I can go to matches, and I've been to as many matches. Yesterday was my 11th match in the past 8 years. Past 7 years. But yeah, even being able to go 2 or 3 times a year is a blessing. I met up with one of the guys from the South Florida supporters group, and yeah, man, his first time he was gassed. He brought his family. He was excited, and it just made me realize, like, man, people from America. I also heard a lot of Americans there yesterday. I heard a lot of American Canadian accents, so it was very interesting for yesterday because you usually don't hear that many. I don't know, but yeah, man, like being here and being able to go to games, you realize how hard it is. When you're in America, how hard it is to get tickets to game. The ballot is absolutely atrocious, and then even if you get, even if you get the ticket, bro, to fly to England is expensive. I'm from Miami. They have direct flights to London, and you're looking about paying anywhere from 8 to 1,200 US dollars for a return flight, and that's just the flight. That's not including the hotel, where you're hoping you get a nice hotel in London, and the cheaper hotels, especially the ones around the stadium, they're probably not going to be of great quality. Um, Big up Dragons, and yeah, they're not going to be of the best quality. And even if you do find something, let's say for a week, you're looking at the same thing. You're looking at about $1,000 or more. So to come to Arsenal as a U.S. fan, even from the East Coast, man, you're looking about $3,000. Saving up $3,000 and making sure, and that's just for the hotel and the flights. That's not including the fact that you got to go out and find something to eat every night. That's not including the fact that if you go to the match, you're gonna want to buy merch. You're gonna want to do the tour. You're gonna want to see all the Arsenal stuff. You might look around and find a nice kit that you like, from one of the vintage shops. Like it's just all of that. So, it's not a cheap undertaking when you fly from the U.S. to the U.K. And that's just the U.S. That's just the East Coast. That's the East Coast is closest. Your cheapest flight might be from New York, but imagine you're from California. Imagine you're from Texas. That long flight. I think from Miami to London is 8.5, 9 hours, one way. You could be flying 14, 15 hours from other parts of America. So yeah, the undertaking that you have to actually go to the Emirates, it's a lot, man. And then when you hear people who kind of belittle international fans and say that, big up Jack, and say that international fans, they don't mean as much as, or they're not as die hard or whatever as London fans or England fans. Bro, it's rubbish. It's rubbish. I know guys who wake up 4 or 5 a.m. to watch matches, and I'm just using America as an example because that's where I'm from. But you got people in Australia, Indonesia, Japan, who also make these flights, who also wake up at dumb hours in the morning. And I think that's why people love the club. People love the club, and that's why Arsenal is so big, because you have fans who are willing to do that. Man, how many Spuds fans do you guys know? How many City fans in America do you guys know that wake up early to go watch Manchester City? It can't be much. United is a little bit different because United pretty much runs the Caribbean. Most of the Jamaican Man United fans, but like Arsenal are as big as they are not just because of the 60,000 that go into the stadium. They're as big as they are because of all the fans internationally. So yeah, man, for me to be able to have watched so many matches and been experienced so many matches, and even when I don't go to matches, to be able to go to a local pub, and be seeing the game at like I think about the South Florida guys, man. If we play at 5:45, them dudes still at work. They on the lunchtime thing, So it's kind of inconvenient. And I remember when I was in the U.S., Champions League, I got lucky because my boss was a football fan as well. And he was just like, just chuck it on the work computer. We ain't doing nothing right now, so we'll just watch it. And we did. That I got lucky with that. But not everybody will. Not everybody's able to do that. So you're missing out on a club you love for work. And it's happened with me as well. Those early kickoffs and stuff, and I still got to work late. But I'm lucky that I can just like leave work and get home in like 20 minutes. And maybe I'll miss the first 30 minutes, but I get to watch the rest of it, you know what I'm saying, with no pressure. And I think that, being in Europe is so much easier for you to actually watch because it's at night. It's after the work day. It's big on the schedule. You know what I'm saying? It's something you can work around. But when you live in other parts of the world, man, like you have to go out of your way to watch the Arsenal, which is why I'll never let anybody talk down to international fans. I'll never let anybody talk down to American fans because they don't know how inconvenient it is to wake up. They don't know how inconvenient it is to just have to rearrange your life or take time off of your work to watch Arsenal. And if it's a super early, like if it's a 12 o'clock on Saturday, your pub might not even be open. So it's not like, the super early one we had, what was it? The FA Cup, where it was at 12:15. The pub wasn't open. So the South Florida guys, can't even go to the pub because the pub's not open. You're not opening the pub at 7 a.m. But for me, it's 12:15. Oh, I can get a lunchtime pipe. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I didn't go. I can go down to the pub. I get me a nice meal. All right, now in time for the match. So it's so convenient for me. And it's not always convenient for everybody else. So, yeah, man, I never let anyone kind of talk down on international fans because it's weak sauce, bro. I know what it's like. And anybody anywhere outside of this time zone and, one back and one forward, it's a pain. So, yeah. Going to the comments, salute Mick, appreciate Super Max. Yeah, I spoke about it earlier, man. It's Max Dowman. I got to watch his first goal, and as I said earlier, bro, it was electric. It's probably one of the loudest moments I've heard in the Emirates since going. I still got a little bit of a headache, but because I was screaming my head off as well. Like, I got a video, I'm just screaming, Max Dowman! Like, yeah, it was, and I think it wasn't just because it was his first goal. Like, that was great. But it was also because that was the nail in the coffin. Like, that was what we needed. You know what I'm saying? That's what we needed to put the game away. And it was at the end of the match. But you never know how much those goals actually matter. You never know how much, like, in the grand scheme of things, those goals can make a difference. Arsenal is an international club. Yes, they are. Even when I didn't know anything about football, I would go into football shops and there would always be Arsenal jerseys. There wouldn't always be City jerseys. There wouldn't always be Villa jerseys. But there was always Arsenal. That is indeed Gooner Rican. Big up, Dragons. I would love to see a live Arsenal game in the Emirates one day. It's so much harder, though. It's so much harder to go to the Emirates now. It's a pain, bro. It's a pain, the balloting system, because they say they want everyone to be fair, but bro, if you don't have like a nice membership, it's impossible. So, and I just feel like now it's gonna be a thing where they'll just look to that and say, oh, there's so much demand for Arsenal. Let's expand the stadium and not spend money to get better. And then we'll go around in this rigmarole. And then they will add, a couple thousand seats. But they won't be cheap seats for the people. Nah, they'll be your executive box seats, your club level seats. They'll expand it so that they can bop people over the head with more money. And they'll say, we expanded the capacity and everybody can go. So yeah. It's crazy. He handed us the game with the cross on the finish. Maxed out. Yeah. It was so on point. It hit Nkapie in the crown jewels. So yeah. That cross was nice. Jack said I never had a name on jerseys, but I think I put Super Max on one of my Arsenal jerseys. I was gonna do it last night. Bro. The dopamine was flowing so hard. Like, I was in the shop. If they had a long sleeve home kit in my size, it was getting 56 diamond on the back. Probably much to my wife's chagrin because, I had already bought the jacket. But, yeah, hold on. But, yeah, much to my chagrin, I'd already bought, my wife's chagrin. I've already bought the jacket. So, I didn't want to push my luck. He buying a jacket, a scarf, and a Max Diamond jersey. But, yeah. I got the jacket, and the jacket is nice. I should have brought it in here, but it's hanging up. I'll probably bring it when I do the kit show. So, if you guys didn't know, I said it earlier. I'm going to do the Waffle House, and I'll make it a kit show. And I'll just pull out, I've got a bucket of, the players that I've gotten on the back of a kit, and I looked at it today, and it's quite a few. It's like I had a couple that I forgot that I had. So some decent players as well. So yeah, man, it's good. Even to see an EPL game. Yeah, man, any Prem game. You know what I would say too, man, if you get an opportunity. Yeah, I was there. I was there when Matt scored, and that's what I said. That's what I said, Jack. So, I I'm gassed that it happened, and also, like I said, he could end up being like Wayne Rooney. He could end up being like Reece Nelson, but you never know. You know what I'm saying? If he ends up becoming an Arsenal legend, it's like one of those things. Like how many people when when Thierry Henry scored his first goal, how many people thought that he would become the player he became? He was a pacey winger from what, Juventus? Like, I don't think anybody saw that he would become the greatest player we've ever seen in the Prem. Like, excuse me. So, yeah, man, it's one of those things where you can look at it and you never know, man. If he becomes half the player that Thierry was and he becomes an Arsenal legend, you can sit back and say, bro, I was there. I was there 15 years ago when Max Dowman scored his first goal. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's amazing to me, man. And he's 16, bro. So he's got, if he starts now, probably, I mean, if he takes care of himself, he probably got about 15 years worth of playing time. 31. And if he changes up his game, he probably could go to 30, 34, 35. So yeah, we could see 15, 20 years of Max Dowman. You never know, man. You never know. Jagan said, yeah, them stuff in the army ain't cheap, but nah, bro. Nah, I think the jacket was 85. And the scarf was 25. Yeah, it ain't cheap, man. You know what's crazy too, man? Like, I said this other day, when I first started buying kits, I used to complain that they were 55 quid. I'm like, bro, because living in Spain, like a Sevilla kit, bro, was 50. I could probably get for 65 euros, man. I could probably get a Sevilla kit with a name on the back. You know what I'm saying? So then, when you look at Arsenal kits, you're like, bro, this is 55 quid, and that's without a name. Put a name on it, you talking about 75 quid. Bro, if I saw a 75-pound Arsenal kit these days, bro, with a name on it, yeah, I'm give me that. This come here, right? I gotta make sure it's real. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it's a lot has changed in that time, but I be trying to get my stuff on sale. When the dopamine hits me, though, I'm liable to come out of the credit card details when the dopamine hits, like it did last night. If the game had ended at 85 minutes, I would have walked right past the armory. I would have put the program in my pocket, gone home, and said that's it. I ain't coming back for a while. But because we won, I was like, I want that. Ooh, should I get that? Ooh, maybe. Who knows? So yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Jack says Max looked humble, his family around him, club embrace him, the players embrace him. He's got everything going for him. He'll be playing for England soon. He might do it. This is the thing, and this is a conversation I had with my friend about Max Dowman as well. What I don't want is the British media to hype him too much. Because what ends up happening is you hype this player, they start kind of feeling it. Not just an ego thing, it's the pressure. When you're that guy, you're supposed to be that guy. And we've seen it in sports. Look at Greg Oden, for example, in basketball. He was supposed to be the next big man, the next Shaq. Bro, he was never that. He was never that. Like, you look at some of, Ryan Leaf in the NFL. He was supposed to be the next big thing. Like, number one pick. And he never lived up to it. You know what I'm saying? So having that pressure sometimes pressure makes diamonds. Sometimes, you had the Peyton Mannings who knew he was going to be a star, and he was. But then you have those guys, your Jamarcus Russells, where everyone's like, he's the next big thing. He can throw 60 yards. He's amazing. And then he believes his own hype, and nothing. So, yeah, I want the hype to be big. But let him enjoy it. Still 16. Still got a long way to go. Let him enjoy the ride. And let us protect him and make sure that he can actually develop and become the player that he can and should be. Southside, big up Southside, slide out. Listen, I'm not even a Liverpool fan. I want the dude to go. How did you mess that up? Tottenham are awful, bro. They are absolutely awful. And I watched that match. Bro, you could have huff puff and tried to score for now and probably still wouldn't get in. Which is crazy because you got Mo Salah. You've got, I take Ekitike at Arsenal. I take Gakpo at Arsenal. I take Szoboszlai at Arsenal if I could with the free kicks. You guys got a pretty good team, bro. Why are you so trash? I don't get it. But you know what I think? I think Slot's leaving anyway. It was 1-1, Jogons. 1-1. It was a game that they definitely should have won, bro. It was a game that Liverpool should have won. They just scuffed it. But I mean, Tottenham getting a point really, I don't think it matters because I just still can't see them winning a game. They can play as good as they like, but I think that I don't think they'll go down. I think that their goal difference will actually keep them up because they did score goals earlier. But man, I just can't believe Liverpool fumbled the bag, bro. Embarrassing. Bro, I bought a training jersey from Burlington Coat Factory for $12. Oh, the blue and light blue training shirt. Nice. Have I gotten? I think I've gotten an Arsenal training kit from Burlington as well, in Sawgrass. I'm pretty sure I bought it for my wife and she loves it, and I can't find it anymore. It was ages ago, back when we was Puma. Yeah, man, you can find some. I found Dolphins jerseys, in like Marshalls and Burlington Coat Factory. Like you can find some good stuff in there, bro. Like John said, I know that's right. I've gotten some soccer jerseys there already. Yeah, bro. I've gotten some decent kit out of there, man. Cause with South Florida, the people like it. So you go in there and you might find a good deal, bro. You might find something that's, for under $20. You're like, that's cool. I like the training kits as well. I like a nice training jersey. Joggons, that was this weekend. Purchased on the Arsenal Stadium jacket for $22. Burlington is the spot. Thanks, Gooner Rican. I just checked as well. Appreciate it. So yeah, hey man, if you guys got questions, that's what this one is. You can ask questions about anything. I was gonna do a Q&A free for all. Ask me anything. So if you guys got anything you want to know about Gooner Rican, the channel, the journey, whatever, put it in there. And I'm here. I'm here for the next maybe half hour to an hour, man. I'm here all, well, not really all night, but yeah, my wife's coming back in a couple days. So yeah, man, I just thought I'd do like a Ask Me Anything to connect with the community, connect with the people out there, and just kind of show them who I am. Because let's talk about the channel. Let's talk about the YouTube journey. While people either come in, come out, or figure things out. I often get asked why I started YouTube, and I've always been doing this. Like, I've always been doing the pre and post match thing. So, like, I used to want to be a sports kind of like analyst back in the day, but for some reason the medical field is the profession that I always kind of gravitate toward. I don't know why. It seems like all of my opportunities in life come through medicine, even though I would just love to be a pundit. I would love to be one of those guys on the NFL Network just talking about football for work. So I've always done kind of like videos, and I found a couple on Facebook back in 2015, 16. There's probably an infamous 10-2 one out there of me just fuming. But I used to do it for Facebook because, my aunt watched, and I got a couple friends who were football fans and stuff. So I used to do those. And then one day I was just like, I was in Curtis Shaw's comments, and just, then I spoke to him one of his live streams, and when I commented that day, he was like, he was well spoken, and it was good, so it was great having him on the member stream. And then the South Florida guys was like, yeah, man, I did some kind of I did some like voice notes and stuff, and they were like, hey, you should start a podcast. So I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'll just try. And yeah, man, when I started, I think I first started in June, and I think I had 15 subscribers, and most of them were from the South Florida supporters group, and my wife, of course. And yeah, man, as of today, I haven't even checked, 430 subscribers, which is 415 more than I expected. So yeah, I'm not, like, for me, it's not a money thing. I don't plan or want to be on AFTV. I just want to talk about football, man. I want to talk about sport. As you can see, I'm a sports fanatic. I love sports. I got a closet and bins full of basketball jerseys, football jerseys, American football jerseys. Obviously a hockey jersey. I got a rugby jersey. Like, I just like sport, man. If it's team sport, I love it. So yeah, man, that's all I want to talk about. I just want to talk about sport, man, with people who want to listen. John Gunn said, so what was the mood of the stadium before we scored? Bro, it was flat. Not even gonna flex to you. It was flat. The mood in the stadium felt like, so I was there for the last time we played Everton, that 0-0 draw, that Boarfest. And I'm not gonna lie, for the first 85 minutes, it felt like that. I was sitting there like, I really spent my money. And like I said, for me, it's just an inconvenience. Like, it's not spending £3,000. Like, for me, the ticket might cost me anywhere from 50 to 100. If I drive, it'll cost me about £10 to park, plus maybe £10 on the tube to go back and forth for the day. So what is that, right? That's maybe £150 for the day if I don't spend anything. It might cost me about 12 quid to get a burger and some chips. Like, and that's pretty much it. Like, and I just drive back. If I take the tube, then it's about 40 quid, from where I live. Or if I take the train, it's 40 pound to go there and back. So yeah, you're looking at it anywhere from 100 to 150 pound for me to go watch Arsenal versus, like the mate I met at the pub who's from South Florida, man. I know he paid grands, not just grands, because he brought his whole family, grands. So yeah, for me, I'm very lucky. But being there, I was just like, bro, I can't believe, for 85 minutes, I was just like, I can't believe I spent my money and my Saturday doing this. I was like, I can't believe I've duped myself again for the 4th time in a row. And I was just sitting there like, bruh. And then Max Dowman came on, and I was like, please. I know he'll go forward. I know he will go forward. And he did. He went forward. I was like, thank goodness. And he hit that cross, and it bounced off of Cappy, and Gyökeres goes. And the first thing I do, I won't even flex. First thing I do, I look up to the board. And I look down at the ref. And I start cheering. But in my mind, I'm like, bro, this could be a VAR. Because this happened before. It's happened before at the Emirates. I'm out here cheering, and they're like, oh, there was a foul in the build-up 3 minutes ago. Like, so yeah. So you're sitting there, like, on the edge. And when it was confirmed, you're just like, yes, let's go. And then, before the second goal, it was kind of tense because we kept giving Everton opportunities. Like, we gave them a corner at the end of the game. That's how we ended up scoring the goal. And I'm just sitting there like, bro, don't tell me we're gonna concede a goal right before the end of the match. And I was literally sat here like this. I'm like, please. And then I see Max Dowman break. And I'm sitting there like on the edge of my seat. I'm forward. I'm like, come on, Max. Let's go. Like, it was absolute pandemonium, bro. Pandemonium. And yeah, man, this is why I keep drinking water, because my voice is gone. My voice is gone. It's going. And I was gassed, bro. So, yeah, my voice is disappearing, and my pounds also disappeared because I spent them all in Armour. One moment. But, yeah, just... It was great, man. It was a great experience. So yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world. How nice, keep growing the channel, 1 subscriber. Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. If one more person decides, listen, if I never get to 1 million, if I never get to 100,000, that'd be fine with me. As long as I got 5 or 6 people who want to come in here and have a chat about football, life, and sports, I'm content, bro. I'm content. He said, I think you should be head of the U.S. Arsenal Supporters Club. Nah, it's too much, man. Too much for me. But what I want to do, though, I would like to visit different ones, because I like that the fact that they have all the scarves. So I met my mate yesterday in the Tarleton Arms, which is down the road from the Emirates. Excuse me. And you can see, like, on the wall, they've got the scarves of, like, the different America Supporters Club. And yeah, they have quite a few. So I'd like to go to different supporters club. I mean, my first ever supporters club was actually, was Raleigh Durham, I think it was over there. I didn't get a scarf or anything because I didn't know anything about the scarves or anything. But yeah, it was a good time, man. It was a good time. It was my first ever time, and I wasn't really an Arsenal fan then. I was just trying to find a team. But that was the first supporters club I went to. And then I ended up going to... I went to Fort Lauderdale back when they were down in Fort Lauderdale. In Fort Lauderdale. I've been to Copenhagen Supporters Bar. I went there by accident. I honestly went there by accident. I wasn't looking for it. Me and my wife had gone to Copenhagen for St. Patrick's Day. Don't ask me. It was cheap. And I like Carlsberg. So, decided I'll go to Copenhagen. We went there, and it was when Arsenal were in the Champions League. They were playing Sporting Lisbon when we went out on penalties. And I was in my phone, and I was just like, I want to go watch the Arsenal match, obviously. So, I was like, let's just find a place we can watch it that's showing it. And yeah, it said showing, it said sports bar. So I went there and it said showing Arsenal. And I was like, are they playing the Arsenal game? And it was like upstairs. And yeah, I went upstairs, walked in. It was an Arsenal sports bar. They had Arsenal Copenhagen. And I was like, hey, can I buy one of the scarves? And they was like, we'll see if we got some more. And I did. I bought one. I was like, yes. So yeah, I have Arsenal Copenhagen. I've also gone to an Arsenal Bucharest in Romania, although I didn't get one of their scarves because I don't think they had. I think there's a different branch on the other side of Bucharest, maybe, or in a different place where they have their main branch. But I went there and it was exciting. I think that was another time we lost. But yeah, I brought in my birthday, January, in Bucharest. So yeah, I've been to a couple. John said, did you go find the FTV crew do their fan recording? Nah. So the guy that I'm with, he's not really a fan of AFTV, and they also record late, so you'd have to stay there. I've been around them when they've recorded after a match when I went with my wife and we were staying near London. Stayed we stayed there to watch. That's what actually I met Curtis Shaw. Because to be fair, I'm not really. Not to say I'm not a fan of AFTV, but I don't. I like to do things as naturally as possible, and I just feel like going on AFTV is kind of one helping them, but I feel like it's a cheat code. I want people to find me naturally, man. Like, I want people to, people came, some of you guys came from raids and decided that you stick around. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel for me, it would just kind of be like going there and putting on a show, and that's not what I want to do, man. I just want to be myself. So I don't want to be like part of the circus show. I like it, I like the fact that they do the fan cams, and that's how that I'm here because AFTV, because of all the work that they did, because the way those guys, the road those guys paved, the troops and the Robbies and Claudes and DTs, those dudes. But for me, I just don't want to compromise who I am for clicks, views, and likes. Not saying that's what AFTV does, but I feel like some people go on there, and not the regulars, but some people go on there, and you can tell, bro, like, you're not really like that in real life. Like, you're trying to get that traction like Troops did back in the day, like DT and Claude and Ty, and that's not natural for me. Like, I want to just be me. So I just do my own thing, man. But you said Curtis and Cecil appear to be cool. Yeah, Curtis is a cool dude. I met him. I met Lee from AFTV. I met Dan Potts as well. They might not remember it because I wasn't doing YouTube there, but I actually spoke to Curtis, man, and we had a conversation, and that was a time where I used to watch Curtis every day, bro. I used to watch Curtis. I try to still watch Curtis. This is the thing too, right? Now that I do YouTube, it's so hard to actually watch other people's stuff. One, because you don't want to end up saying the same stuff that they're saying, but also like the times and stuff. Like I have to watch their stuff, and then I have to do my own thing, and like that takes up a lot of time, and it becomes harder to watch people's things. I'll listen to Shane and Views and BBK like during the workday because that's when they do it. But like Curtis usually does his at 2:00. And by 2:00, I'm like in the full swing of work. So like if I do it early morning, where like I'm getting into work and not doing things, like by 1-2:00, I'm into it. I'm there till 5:30, so I'm like actually into work. So it becomes harder to actually kind of keep up with those guys. But I still pop in on Curtis. And the one thing that I can say about Curtis as well is that guy is genuine. As far as speaking to me, like I remember when I had a few subscribers, I was just in his chat because that's what I do. I like his stuff, and he looked big up Godfrey. He looked at my channel. He said, "Yeah, Gooner Rican, man. He came on the member stream. We had a good conversation. You guys go check him out." And he didn't have to do that, man. And I got quite a few subscribers from that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Curtis is a genuine guy. My cat is going all over the joint because of my hair, but I washed it, so I'm trying to. But yeah, Curtis is a genuine guy. And he didn't have to shout my channel out. He didn't even have to mention me. He's got thousands of people in his chat, and the fact that he took time out to go look and see how many subscribers I was on and say, "Come on, this guy's good." We spoke. I've spoken to him. He's been on the channel, on the member stream. Go check him out, and he didn't have to do that. So big up for that. And I also want to shout out, like, and I'm going on a rabbit hole, but that's what we do in the Waffle House. That's why you came here. But like views, Shane, views invited me on Under the Lens when I had probably 150 subs. And he didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Shane invited me on the Bruised Banana when I had less than 200 subs. Like, he didn't have to do that. I was still recording with my iPhone, and these guys invited me to be on their channel. I've been on channel with BBK. I've been on channel with Tony Claude. And these guys didn't have to invite me. They didn't have to invite me to the channel. And yeah, Dark Side Gunner as well. You know what I'm saying? I've never spoken to him. So the fact that he even sent people my way, big up. And that's why I went. I subscribed. I thanked him. Like, I appreciate it, man. Like, I'm just here. I'm here to waffle. That's what I like doing. I'm here to talk. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm here to speak with not just like-minded people. Like, today, when I was doing my match review, I had a Man United fan come in. It's like, are they acceptable here? All football fans are accepted here. As long as you're respectful. Even a Spuds fan, if you come over here, you want to talk about Spuds, you can. I think the only, fans that will kind of irk me a little bit are Jets fans. I'm just kidding. But, if you're a sports fan, bro, I want you in here. That sports is like the one thing, like I said in the last stream, it's the one thing that can make you forget that life is happening. The worst things in your life could be happening, but you love your sports team, and for 2 hours they make you feel good. You forget about everything else outside of that. When I was in the Emirates last night, the bills didn't matter. The wife, I wasn't concerned what the wife was doing. Like, my job, whatever's happening, it doesn't exist. For 90 minutes, it's me and 11 dudes who, who basically say how my weekend's gonna go. But if you're just away, bro, you're away. You're in a different place. So that's how I want you to be when you come in here, man. If you've got life and stuff going on, just take a little bit and just come here and just get whatever's off your chest. If you think your team sucks, if you think they're good, tell me. As long as you're respectful, as long as you're respectful to each other, respectful to me, you do what you like, man. Have fun. Have at it. That's what the community is for. And that's what the Waffle House is for. There do be fights at the actual Waffle House, but we ain't going to have no fights in here. Right? We're going to have a good time. We're going to eat the waffle. Put a little syrup on that bad boy. Have some OJ, grits. Have a good time. Be nice and full. And go back to life. That's what I want when you come through here. Thanks for the reminder. Jack said, someone who doesn't get enough props for yesterday was Martinelli, who cleared the ball for Max, and he also protected Max by blocking the Everton defender who attracted. Yeah, Martinelli has moments where he does things that people don't see. And I think Martinelli would probably be better if he had better training. Honestly, I think if he had another person coaching him, I think he could be better. Because you always see bits of Martinelli that could be world class. But asking him to do the defending and then the attacking and doing this and do that, like, I feel like he does too much. And when he does too much, then it's crazy. When he does too much and he kind of stares at the ball and he goes, and then he runs out of play. Like, that's the things that do my head in. But Martinelli does have moments where he's just amazing, man, unplayable. We just have to see more of it. But I think Martinelli, for Martinelli as well, I think it'd be better for him to move on. I think that when you see him at his next club, whatever that next club is, I think that you'll see a different side, and I think you'll see a better side. I think Martinelli will continue to get better. Big up views. As I said, if you're just coming in, this is a question and answer stream. So if you guys got any questions, you want to know anything about the channel, about me, about what I know about the sports, just put them in the comments, and I'm here. I'm here to answer. I'm an open book tonight. Jack said, "Dark Side Gunner is why I'm here. I was watching the show. He said, yeah, and I appreciate him for that, man, because people don't have to raid you, bro. They don't have to send me raids. You know, like, they don't have to. I don't even know how to raid, even if I could. I don't think I can, because I don't think I have enough subs and stuff. But, yeah, you know, people don't have to do that. So I appreciate everything. I try to support as much as I can. You know, because I follow so many people now, it's kind of hard to listen to everyone that I follow. But, yeah, man, even if I don't listen to, you know, a whole stream, I'm going to drop a like, right? Because I know that it helps. I know that it helps people. And people, you know, people give their hard-earned time and hard-earned money to do this YouTube thing. For me, I did the free joint, right? So, yeah, I'm not paying for StreamYard. That's why you haven't seen me collaborate with anybody. I'm going to have to, but there's a number that I want to hit before I'll start paying my money for StreamYard, bro, to be fair. Because I want to know that, one, that it's worth it, but one, that people also want it. You know what I'm saying? If I had, you know, 35 subscribers, should I pay, you know, £50 a month for StreamYard for the 35? For me, it'll be worth it because it's 35 people. But if I can do what I'm doing now and not have to pay £500, you know, I do that. I think anybody would do that. I think it's a sensible thing. So, yep. What's the number you had to get for StreamYard? It's in here. I'm not gonna tell you. It's in here. It's in here because I don't want anybody. This, like I just said, I want everything to be natural. So I don't want people to like, just like, you know, try to pump the numbers up. Because I want a community. I want people to come over here and be over here. Which is why I said that, you know, if I'd be okay if it stays at the number that I'm at, I'm all right with that. I don't have to get to 100,000. And sometimes, you know, you might not want to get to 100,000 because as much as you like Curtis, I'm pretty sure Curtis feels that, like, man, I can't read everybody's comments. Like, we having a conversation here, I can read everybody's comments. You know, once you get to a certain, you know, you look at the you told us this question I asked. No, I answered it. I just didn't give you the answer you were searching for. That's what it is. I did answer. But yeah, it's you look at like the Gold Bridges and those guys. They have so many fans and followers. Like, you don't get to read everybody's comments, and then you got people sending in super chats, and they might not even get read. Like, I never want to be like that, because then I feel like these people help me to get to a point. You know, these people help me get to a point where I can afford to do this full time, and I can't even give them the common decency of reading a comment. Like, I never want to be like that. So I never want to, like, you know, I know people who are doing like sub for sub and like for like, because, you know, I'm around, so I read people's stuff. Thanks, Quadra, I appreciate it. You know, I read people's stuff, and they're just people who get bots, who do things. Nah, man, I don't want that. I don't want to have to beg people to come over here. If you want to come over here, that's fine. If you don't, then that's fine too. You know, it's all right. It's all right with me. I will always be content. Big up the legend in the chat. Big up Quadra. Good evening, everyone. Fuse said, "How much for a square of that dopamine?" It's free. It's free. You just gotta let go, Views. Let go. Just realize that you can't control the Cone Man. The Cone Man is gonna do Cone Man things. But what you can control is allowing the highs to get you, and when the lows happen, you just kind of say, "I knew it was coming." And that's how I live my life when it comes to my... Bro, I'm a Dolphins fan. Views, you might not know anything about American football, but Dolphins are like Oh, who can I? They're like Aston Villa, right? Once a big club, but every time you expect them to get over the line, they let you down. They're like, bro, we could have had this, but you didn't do it. And that's why how I feel with Arsenal. Bro, Arsenal, as far as I know, Arsenal, and it's a crazy thing, right? Arsenal are probably they were the second winningest club I support as far as trophies. And I think they were tied on trophies, right? As far as I've been a fan, right? So, not like overall winners. Um, I mean, I think Manchester United are better, Jack, because they actually won in the last, 15 years, 20 years. The Dolphins ain't won the Super Bowl in about 50. But in my time being a fan, if I would have to rank my sports team as far as how many things I've watched, the Heat would be first. I've watched 3 championships. I watched 3 championships: 2006, 2012, and 2013. I think it was. I watched those 3: the super team, and the one before with Shaq. I've seen 1 championship with the Florida Marlins. I've seen none with the Dolphins. 1 with the Hurricanes. Um, I've seen 2 with them, but that's recent, so I don't count that. Right? I'm talking about like since I support Arsenal. Dolphins, Hurricanes, Miami teams, Marlins. Even though I don't follow them anymore because I'm tired of them. Um, who else? Yeah, and Arsenal. So Arsenal, since I've been a fan, have won 2 FA Cups. So they're the second winningest team of the teams that I support. I've seen them win 2 trophies. So, you know, for me, winning a trophy means a lot. And I think too sometimes, right? I think sometimes people in the UK, just Europeans, in for example, right? And it's a good thing if you ask me that, right? Because what ends up happening, right, is when you live in Europe, you get used to winning, being able to win a certain amount of trophies. You can win 4 every year, right? If you're Arsenal, you can win 4 every year. You might not, but Crystal Palace might win one, you know, or you can have a Newcastle win something. Even if it's domestic, you can win something. If you go down to the championship, they can win the trophy. They can win their version, the EFL Cup. They can win a lot of things, right? 1 or 2 trophies, maybe 3, right? For American sports, you only got 1. Only 1 person. You play the whole season to win 1 trophy. So I think that for me, being an Arsenal fan and seeing the FA Cups and not knowing better, like not knowing, I know that it's a domestic cup, but for me, they feel just as important as the other cups. We win the Carabao Cup and we don't win the league or the Champions League. Will I be disappointed? Yes. But I revel in the fact that we won a trophy because not everybody can win one. You know what I'm saying? Coming from Americans, but I haven't seen my team even make it to the game to win a trophy in 25 years. I've been following for 25 years. I've never seen them make a Super Bowl. I've been following the Hurricanes for the same amount of time. I watched them win the trophy in 2001. We should have won in 2003, but we were cheated. And then 20 years, I ain't seen nothing. So for me, it's just I revel in every trophy. So when we win, I feel excited because I feel like we can win something. But yeah, man, being an American fan, you get used to only 1 chance. So you don't win the league, but you win the FA Cup. You're like, dang, I won something. I won something. So that's how I feel about that. My fears forever. Gooner Rican, let the process happen organically. Yeah, man, I try. But I appreciate the help. I appreciate the people who see me, in chats, and when Views and Shane shout me out. I always appreciate that because I feel like their community, will come over and support. Like some of you guys are from their channels, right? And you've come over and you support me and you stay because you like it. Like that's what I like. But I'm not gonna go on AFTV and beg for 1,000 likes, and then I have to sit there and I can't have my dopamine moments, because the dopamine comes with the good and the bad. The dopamine comes with, man, I feel like we're gonna win the league, and it also comes with, man, I'm tired of the manager, the owner, everybody. Like it comes with that. And to ask me to always be, yeah, we're gonna win the league, and not be F the manager, I can't do it because that's not organically me. That's not who I am. So if I ever have to compromise who I am to get ahead in life, I'll never do it. Because my dad always told me, the one thing you have is your integrity. The one thing no one can take from you is your integrity. I'd rather graft and have the hard way and do it the right way. Do it, be at 1,000 or 500 forever. And know that, what, I was me. Then get 100,000 and have to be a caricature. Have to be a shell of myself. And I'm not saying that's what people do over there, but it's kind of interesting when you see people who were staunch like Wenger outs cap for a manager who has never won anything. That for me doesn't feel right. And maybe opinions change, because my opinions changed. I was not happy with Arteta in the beginning. Then 22-23 happened. 23-24 happened. And I said, you know what? He's learning, right? I thought, I'm like, I was wrong. Maybe he is the guy to take us over the line. And then the last couple seasons happened, and I'm just like, well, I was wrong about that. Like, people call it being a flip-flop, but I'm a person. I'm a human being. And the one thing that I hate about our fan base is Arteta in, Arteta out. Or top Gooner, base Gooner, bottom Gooner, whatever. Bro, no, I'm just a fan. I don't have to be labeled. Like, I can say Mikel Arteta has done a great job while not wanting him to be in the job. I'm like, yeah, yesterday, if you guys were here earlier, you heard me. He got it spot on. Excuse me. He got it spot on. We needed something, and he threw caution to the wind, and he threw Gyökeres on, he threw Max Dowman on, he threw Martinelli on. He took Zubimendi off. He put Saka in the middle and said, go for it. That's something that I said that he normally doesn't do. It's something I criticize him for. But guess what? He did it, and it worked. And I have to give him credit for that. Right? I can't just sit here and be like, oh, that Arteta. No, it was just the player. He had nothing to do with it. No, that's not fair. That's not fair, right? So, yeah, will I say that I want him to be the match? I don't. I still don't. Like, I think, right? And this is, I'm on here for opinions. I think that Luis Enrique or Carlo Ancelotti would have us winning the lot. That's my opinion. But will I back the team while he's here? Of course I will. 100,000%. You know what I'm saying? 100,000%. So, yeah, man. Let me get back into the comments. Go back. Where was I? Dolphins are like Manchester United. They were good a long time ago. You know what's crazy? I've done this comparison, right? I've done this comparison in here way earlier. The Dolphins are actually like Arsenal, more than you believe, right? As the only two teams to go undefeated in their respective leagues, right? And then once they went undefeated, they dropped off and they never reached that again. Also, the owners that they have are more concerned with the product than the on-field team. The Miami Dolphins have everything that you would possibly need to be the best team in the NFL. Big up Shane for the raid. I appreciate it. Just like I was talking about, right? Didn't have to do it. Didn't have to send me anybody. You know, if people stay around, I appreciate it. But Shane don't have to do that. There's probably a million other channels he could do that to, and he decided to send his viewers my way. That's why I appreciate it, man. Right? And I'll always be appreciative, and I like people that support you and are real. They don't stab you in the back. You know what I'm saying? I'm not naming any names, but yeah, the Dolphins are like Arsenal in that you hit that height of being undefeated. You hit that height of being invincible, and with that, because like I said, I'm a Dolphins fan. With that comes a certain amount of responsibility. And the thing that the Dolphins did that Arsenal didn't do is the Dolphins went undefeated and then followed it up with another NFL championship. It was another Super Bowl. And then they went what's now 50 years without winning it. Arsenal won, and then they got to the Champions League final, and then they didn't win. And as a fan of both clubs, every year you feel that, is this the year? Is this the year that we can get over it? Is this the year that we can finally return to what we are? Because there's no other team that's gone invincible. There's no other team that's gone undefeated. Now, if you count like the Preston North Ends and all that stuff, but we're talking in the Premier League era. It's a big thing to live up to. It's a big thing to live up to be invincible. And that brings a certain pressure on the fans as well, because they know what that feels like. Granted, the Dolphins fans who actually experienced the undefeated season, they're probably all gone, because most of that team is gone. You know, my dad was born in 1950, so he's around. He might have seen when they won it. And that's the one thing that I feared for Arsenal. The fact that we could get to a point where you have a whole generation of fans who've never felt that euphoria, who've never seen you win. Now, granted, we did get close with Dan Marino. We didn't win. But even then, we're talking, what, 1984, 86? Like, we're talking the 80s when Dan Marino was making it to the Super Bowl. We're talking the Joe Montana days. Like, there's a whole section of people that have been born and have gone to college and still haven't seen the Dolphins win. And you don't want to be there as a franchise. You don't want to get to a point where you're just not getting over the line because you start losing fans. Like, how many Manchester City fans could have been Arsenal fans if we had just said, all right, Wenger, thank you for the FA Cup. Let's move on. Right? You could have had we've lost a whole generation for being stagnant. And as far as the owners, it's the same thing. Like, the Dolphins owner, bro, that man couldn't care about what's on the field. We have the F1. We got tennis. We got the World Cup that's going to be there. You know, they've got all kinds of exhibition games. They had Argentina and Messi. Like, the man cares about the off-field product because that's what's bringing in the money, right? The football team kind of comes second. And that's what I don't want for Arsenal. I don't want the Cronkies to be like, oh, let's renovate the stadium, and now you'll get, we'll have concerts, and we'll have the World Cup, and we'll have this. Meanwhile, Arsenal's declining. So I don't want that. We need something for show for the season. EPL and Carabao is the minimum. Big up, Tony Clyde. Thanks for coming around. A low down dirty Shane Ray. Big up, Darren Martin. So yeah, man. EPL, yep. EPL and Carabao is the minimum. I agree. It should be the minimum. We should be winning the domestic cups. The Carabao Cup is after watching Manchester City, I'm not gonna say it's a foregone conclusion because finals are finals, but bro, if we don't score against them, I mean West Ham scored. Mavropanos scored against those guys. He couldn't even make our first team. So, yeah, that's exactly why we're here. Gooner Rican, you're a real one. I appreciate that. Arteta grew a set yesterday. Normally he's stubborn. Yeah, man, and I gave him credit for it, right? Because when he threw Max Dowman on, I was shocked. Now I wanted to see the thing that kind of confused me was the fact that what's his name? Mascara came on instead of Ben White. But then I just figured that Ben White was hurt, so that's why he didn't come on. But I like to see more Ben White as well. I've been Arteta net when we battled in Europe against Floricua. I've given credit where it's due as well, though, when he's done. Yeah, and that's balance, man. Everybody calls it flip-flops. No, I love my club. I'm a sports fan. I will be high when we win, and I will be low when we don't win. That's it. Joggons, Gooner Rican, with your Puerto Rican roots, will you do content on the Puerto Rican soccer team as they grow? So I spoke about that as well. I want to do Puerto Rico content because I have been kind of following the careers of two of our best players. Leandro Antonetti, he played for Sevilla, and now he's gone to a team in Portugal whose name I can't think off the top of my head. They got some cool kit though, but I think they're one of the like mid-table Portuguese teams. I'm hoping to get some time. I think he's about 23, 24. And then Jeremy De Leon. He was with Real Madrid, and then he got hurt. And I think he's still with the Castilla team. But I'd like to I'm hoping that they allow him to go somewhere, when he recovers. Because I don't think he's going to make the Real Madrid team. But I'm hoping he does go somewhere when he recovers and, he has a decent career. Because I think the more Puerto Rican ballers that go into Europe, the better. I think the Puerto Rico team is a little bit different than the American team, in such that Puerto Rican people are very proud, and they would be proud to play for their club, and they might not have to pay as much to actually get in. But yeah, I will try to do Puerto Rico content because I want to do more Puerto Rico content. I want us to make the World Cup or the Gold Cup, but I think by the time the Gold Cup rolls around. Because I think it's in 2 years? Is it in 2 years? Or is it next year? I forget. Let me just have a check when the Gold Cup is. But yeah, if they make the Gold Cup, then we might do it. So it's is it 2026? Maybe we'll see. We'll see, guys. We should do some more Puerto Rico content. Maybe I'll do some watch-alongs and such for Puerto Rico. But it's gonna be hard because Puerto Rico is still a fairly small team. But yeah, that's a good shout, man. I do want to do more Puerto Rico stuff. When I work on my Spanish, you might hear some Spanish in there too. Quadra Shane Raid, appreciate it. Legends Shane Gooner with the raid. Yes, a low down dirty Shane Raid, Darren Martin, appreciate it. Big up Gooner Rican. Big up Tony Clark, another legend, Tony. Darren Martin, Dapping. Brother, I told you about using Mac, but you said let's protect him. I still think let's protect him. Like that, for me, we still gotta protect Max. You let him come out, but you have to protect him in the sense that you can't flog him like they did Saka. I think the reason that Saka's a step slow is because we flogged him because he's the man. But even though those players, we called him the star boy, he should have been allowed to rotate. He should have been allowed to get time off. And he should have been allowed to say, listen, you're not having a good game. Let's take you off for a little bit. Let's protect. That's what I mean, right? But yeah, he saved it. He saved our bacon, bro. I can't even flex. He saved our bacon. Jack said Arteta's doing the best of what he has. Our team has played with injuries and inconsistency. Jesus, Odegaard, Martinelli, Trossard, Calafiori, Arteta did okay with the personnel. But to caveat that though, he bought them players. He wanted Jesus. He called Jesus personally. He wanted Odegaard as the captain. Martinelli, he pretty much had. Trossard, maybe. Calafiori, he begged for. Calafiori, he loves. So, this is the thing with Arteta. And this is the thing with... It's a 50-50 deal. It's 50% on him and 50% on the players. Because as a footballer, as an athlete, you don't come out playing cautious. Most young players don't come out playing cautious. when I was in high school and I wanted to play American football, I was a renegade, bro. I like doing spin moves. I like doing all kind of stuff. But then you get that coached out of you, right? You get told, hey, if you spin again, I'm putting you on the bench. Hey, if you do too many of these moves, I'm putting you on the bench. So eventually you learn not to do those things. You just don't do those things because maybe the coach doesn't like those. Maybe the coach doesn't think you're good at them. But the more you're told not to do something, your game starts to change. And that's what I feel like has happened with our attacking part of our team. You know, we've been told to make the safe pass. We've been told to make the high percentage. We've been told to make the high percentage pass. We've been told to kind of play it safe. And now, when we're in the business end of the season and he's like, all right, I'm taking the handbrake off. In the back of your mind, you're just like, bro, you've been telling me for 80% of the season, don't do this. And now you're saying it's okay? Like, and I use this analogy, bro. If your mom says, stay out the fridge, stay out the fridge, stay out the fridge, and then one day she's like, go get a popsicle out the fridge, you're looking at her sideways like, but you never let me go do this. What? Am I in trouble? Is something happening? Why are you allowing me to do this now? Is it a trap? Like, you think about that. And it's the same way as a player. If you tell me not to do something for ages, and then you come back and say it's okay, in the back of my mind, it's like, I'm being set up here. I'm being set up for failure. And we play like that. So, yeah. Quadra says, don't worry, guys. We got Gabriel Jesus. He's our... Oh, Jesus. I know you're trolling, but... Funny enough, side note, I actually think Gabriel Jesus can do a job. And I think he can do a job on the left wing. He can't be any worse than what we've seen on the left wing, Gabriel Jesus. And even if we don't do a left wing thing, why we can't just play two up top? Maybe go like a modified 4-4-2. Try something different. You never know. Topside Hybrid says, do you think it's coincident that Jokic, Euro, Grift, and our player shithousery come from two KSC franchises who share a stack of sports data? I feel like Jokic Euro kind of centric game comes from playing and being European and there's a different pressure, right? I feel like Jokic would have been that regardless of whether he went to Chicago or whether he went to Miami. I think Jokic would be that. I think what helps Jokic is that the Denver Nuggets is kind of a small market. It's not the biggest of markets. And when you come from somewhere like Europe, you're coming... What is he? What is Jokic? Is Jokic Serbian? But when you come from, a small Eastern European country, and then you come to Denver, it's not really that much of a... It's different because it's America, but the market is small. Like going to OKC. I think it'd be a little bit different if, he had gone to like a New York or California. But because he's in a small market, and he understands what it means to kind of be in, the Denver franchises, you've got the Broncos and and you've got the Nuggets. The Rockies, meh. The Buffaloes, I mean, you've got Deion Sanders, but you ain't really got much else in Denver. Although, didn't the Colorado, what do they call themselves? Colorado Rapids? Yeah. I know what's the Colorado team? Avalanche won the Stanley Cup. But I think that Jokic's thing come from being in Europe. I think it's just a European thing. As far as kind of the way we play with the craphousery and stuff, like, I think that's just a European thing, man. Like, and I feel like Eastern Europeans usually play like that. They usually are a little bit tougher, and they know how to bend the rules. You've seen it, a lot of times with some of the Eastern Europeans that play There's some tough dudes, man, but they know how to do just enough, like within the rules of the game to get something. And yeah, I don't think it comes down to um I don't think it comes down to the franchise. I think it comes down to the people. Josh is the most hands-on with the Nuggets. That's pretty clear. Josh, with the Cronkies, Josh seems to be more sports oriented than his father. I think, or maybe not sports oriented. He seems to be more involved in the franchises that aren't the Rams. I think that Stan Kroenke is Rams through and through. He wants the Rams are his baby, and I think that stadium is the crown jewel in his kind of franchise. That stadium is everything. I think Josh is at a point where he's trying to prove to Stan that he has the steel and excuse me. My voice is going excuse me. He's got the steel to kind of prove to Dad that I can take over the family business and be successful. I have what it takes to run the Stanley business. And yeah, he seems to be more hands-on because ever since Josh has taken over kind of running Arsenal, and like I said, even with the Cronkies, I'm not a fan, but I can admit when they've done things. They haven't given us money, but they've put people in place that allow us to spend our money wisely. Berta has come in and he's got rid of a couple of the dead wolves. Granted, we have given some inflated contracts, but some of the signings he made, sensible, man. Madueke, he's been solid. He's not my first choice. Norgard, he should have been solid, but he don't play. Like, I like how Berta does business, and if he does anything close to what he done for Atletico, then we should be in business. So Josh seems to be someone who wants to win trophies and not just here to siphon off the club. But yeah, Stan, he only cares about the Rams. And Topside said I have family in St. Louis. They truly hate Stan. Of course they do. Of course they do. Because the greatest show on turf was amazing to watch. The St. Louis Rams were everything. And this is the thing that I despise about American professional sports is the fact that it doesn't matter how much of a fan base you have. It doesn't matter how ingrained a professional club in America is with a city. If that owner gets a sweeter deal somewhere else, they are out of there. They're gone. They're not sticking around. So that for me is the toughest thing. Like, I love the Dolphins with every fiber in my body. But if Stephen Ross woke up tomorrow and decided we moving this thing to, I don't know, let me pick somewhere. He's from Michigan, so let's move it to Ann Arbor and we're gonna be the Ann Arbor Dolphins. He could. If Ann Arbor decided that they had a space, like, oh, you guys are gonna play at the University of Michigan Stadium, and you know, this is the deal, he could pack up and say, all right, that's it. See you guys later. Peace. And then we would have a big empty stadium that nobody can use. Because that's what happened in St. Louis. Big empty stadium, ain't nobody using. Exactly, Jack. Steve Ross could wake up tomorrow and say, I'm off the ball and sell the Dolphins to the Glazers. Right? There's no kind of loyalty with American sports to the fans. With professional sports. And that's why I love college. That's why I love the Hurricanes. As long as there is a Miami, the University of Miami will be in Miami. It ain't going nowhere. It's not going anywhere. That's the thing I also love about Arsenal. Arsenal constant. You cannot move Arsenal at this point from North London. If you do, you're going to have riots on your hands, bro. It's going to be ugly. And I think that that's the beautiful thing. They can't just up and move the franchise. You know, they can't just up and leave. So, yeah, man, that's how I feel. Like, I love the Dolphins with everything. But yeah, if he woke up, he woke up and he woke up on the wrong side of the bed and said, "All right, y'all, I'm out." It'd be tough. It happened to the Cleveland Browns when they became the Baltimore Ravens. It happened to the Baltimore Colts when they went and became Indianapolis. It happened to the Houston Oilers when they became the Tennessee Titans. It happened to the St. Louis Rams when they went back to LA because they were LA first. They left to go to St. Louis, ingrained in St. Louis, went back to LA. The Chargers, LA Chargers, San Diego. When I was growing up, LaDainian Tomlinson and the San Diego Chargers. That's what we had. So, yeah, man, it sucks. It sucks so bad that they can just move the franchise. The Lakers, right? How many lakes are in California? Not as many as in Minnesota, where they started. Right? Most of the NBA franchises, how much jazz do they play in Utah? Not as much as New Orleans, where it started. Right? So there's no loyalty in sports, in American professional sport. That's the one thing I don't like. But I think the Dolphins will be there forever because Miami's got, Miami has low income or no state tax. They have good food, good people. So I doubt it's going to go anywhere. But you always think about it in the back of your mind. Like, will they leave? Washington? Oh, bro. But they didn't leave. They just changed their name. The Washington Commanders thing, terrible. Absolutely. Of all the names you could have come up in logo, you paid somebody. Top side, before we moved to the Emirates, there were plans to move to either Greenwich or Hertfordshire, just outside of London. It was leveraged, but it nearly happened. I mean, to be fair, if they moved to Hertfordshire, it's easier for me to get to. I've been to Hertfordshire. Yeah, man, I've been to Hertfordshire, Luton and them, man. I went there for an American football game. We played the Hertfordshire Cheetahs, and we got spanked. But yeah, I've been over there. Would it be easier? The M25 is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. I got lucky last night because we were on the M3, so I really kind of circumvented the M25. But yeah, the M25 is pain in my butt, bro. To be fair, the M3 can be wild as well. But and this is what I said yesterday. I felt like everything was great yesterday. It was sunny. We won. Our ops lost or drew. And I bought merch. I feel like it was a perfect day yesterday. But yeah. Let's check to see. Because I'm behind. This thing's behind. So I always check to see if they're in. So Arsenal needs to stay in London, although they were established in Woolwich. But Arsenal is London. Yeah, because that's where the armory was in Woolwich. Man, but this is the thing that Spuds fans annoys me, right? Spuds fans always say, "Oh, you're not London." Tottenham wasn't London either. It was in Middlesex. Tottenham was in Middlesex when it first started. So technically it wasn't in London either. We were in North London before they were. But a lot of Tottenham fans refuse to know their own history, which is quite sad. But I wouldn't expect anything from the little bros, But yes, they moved to Woolwich, but there was really not much happening in actual North London. And then Tottenham was in Middlesex, and then it became the city of London, and Tottenham were amalgamated. But yeah, they don't know their own history. So yeah, man, it's good. We've had some great conversation, man. I appreciate it. If you guys are new in here, it is a free for all to ask me everything. I will answer most of your questions as best as I can about pretty much anything, man. So if you got more, I said I was gonna be here for another 25 minutes and it turned into another hour because people started rating me. So if you are watching, if you want to know anything about the channel, if you want to know anything about me, if you want to know anything about my sports teams, my views on whatever, politics, please, let's not get started on politics. I don't want to. It's one of those questions that I always get asked by everyone because being in England and they hear you're American, I've become some kind of spokesperson for the U.S. and I'm tired of those questions, right? I live in the UK. As far as I know, Labor's in power, and that's pretty much all I need to know at the moment, right? As long as my visa is fine, then I don't need to talk about politics. But anything else, if you guys got any other questions, chuck them in there, and we'll waffle a little bit more. And then, yeah, we'll go about the rest of our night, because I got work tomorrow. Topside hybrid, where are you in the world? I know I got a couple of Americans in here. So where are you from, if I can ask questions? And yeah. So Jack, since you're in here, I know you're in here. What do you see our next two results being? What do you see? What part of London? Because London is very vague. I know London people usually say, from North London or West London or South London. So, yeah. And Jack, New York City. Yeah, New York is a nice place. Upstate New York. New York City is a wild. I've been to New York City once. It was all right. It's too big. New York and London are very similar. Which is probably why they, also the flight to from New York to London is fairly quick as well. So I think that's why a lot of the culture kind of intermingles a little bit. Grew up a few miles from Highbury, now Central. Lovely. You know what? London is one of those places I would love to live just to say I did it. I live in Hampshire, near the South Coast, near Portsmouth. And Portsmouth is the island city, very densely populated city. But I live outside of it. So it's kind of quiet, but if I need the city, I can go into it. But London's a different beast. I feel like I've been to London quite a few times to play American football. Because we played Team Brunel. We've played Hertfordshire. I've seen London Blitz, I think it was, as well during my American football journey. So, yeah, I've played a couple of London teams or thereabouts, and I've also coached against a couple of London American football teams. So yeah. Hey, fellow alumni. I also went to the University of Southampton. That's my school. I don't have the hoodie on. I usually do. But yeah. I played for the Southampton Stags American football team and coached them as well. Jack said our next two matches will be Bournemouth 2-1 and against Man City we win 3-1. I think it'll be the reverse. I think that we'll beat Bournemouth 3-1, and I think we'll get a 2-1 win against Manchester City. We beat Leverkusen 2-1. Yeah, I agree. I think the Leverkusen team. I think the Leverkusen one will be a little bit close, but I think we'll get through. I'm a little bit more worried about Bodo, man. To be fair, Bodo Glimt, them boys. They taking giant scalps, man. They're taking giant scalps. We had a wild student house in Portswood. If you know, listen, the Broadway, Portswood Broadway. Yeah. Hey, so that means you went to Jesters and Clowns. If you went to uni, bro, Jesters and Clowns. Listen, unless you've gone to Southampton, you don't understand the institution that is Jesters and Clowns. It is a pub slash nightclub, but that's kind of a vague. It's a pub at the top, but yeah, you have to have actually been in Southampton to know about jesters and clowns. But yeah, it's a student pub, man. So yeah. Is Jester still there? It was the last time I went there, but they're redoing Portswood, so I'm not sure. But yeah, I graduated from uni in 2021, and it was still there when I was there. And I had mates working there as well. I was coaching up to a couple years ago, and it was still there because some of my players were bouncers at Jesters. But yeah, oh man, at Jesters. I've done a Centurion at Jesters. If you know, you know. But yeah, because I used to live near RSH in a student house, in a shared accommodation. So I was there in '95. That place was listen, Southampton, right? Southampton for me changed my life. It changed my life for the best, I think. He said the smile says it all. It's a hole in the wall. It's pretty much what I can describe it as. But I've had some good moments. Like, because I went to university as a mature student. So I went at 25. So, like, I tried to, enjoy it for what it was. When you go to university as an older student, you're always seen like the grandpa. You know what I'm saying? He said Southampton's King of Diamonds. Yeah. It's not that. It's just a pub, but it's where all the students go and get trash. It's lovely. It's got like the sticky floors and the shoddy lighting, but it's a staple of being a student at Southampton. And you ask any uni of Southampton student, the last 20 years, even 30 it seems, and they'll tell you about clowns and jesters. So, but yeah, man, it's one of them places like Southampton. I coming from Miami. Side note, little known fact, Miami's actually twinned with Southampton as cities. They're twin cities. They've had some kind of agreement. They're both port cities. And coming from Miami to Southampton, I can say that Southampton is nothing like Miami. But it was my home. It was the place where I figured out the next point of my life. It's where I met my mate who I go to Arsenal with. It's where I learned how to coach, American football. I mean, I'd always played American football since I was 6. But playing a sport and learning how to coach it are two different things. You can play a sport as we see in football. You can be one of the best players there's ever been. Doesn't mean you're going to be a good coach. So I learned how to coach American football, and I was able to coach American football. And this is actually one of my American football types. So Royal Navy, I coached for Royal Navy at one point as well. And yeah, man, Southampton gave me a lot, man. It gave me an opportunity. I've been to Saints matches. I've been to a Pompey match, and if you know anything about the region, Saints and Pompey hate each other. They're absolute rivals. So, yeah, man, Southampton was a place that was great for me, man. It was always great. Topside said, when I was there, I enjoyed watching Arsenal and getting to see Matt Letizia play a load too. Yeah, so that would have been at the Old Dell, which obviously isn't there anymore. But yeah, yeah, Scummers and Skates. Yeah, you can be a mediocre player and be a great coach. Phil Jackson and Mark Jackson. Yeah, you know what? I honestly think some of the best coaches are mediocre players, and I think it's because you get to a point where you know what you could have done if you had that talent. And you know how to get the best out of people who might not have that talent. I think that's why, right? I was a decent player, but I was never going to make it to the NFL, right? I came to that realization probably my freshman year of high school when all of my friends were 6 foot and I was still 5'6". And I was trying to play defensive tackle and defensive end and outside linebacker. So I hit that realization very early, but I was still pretty decent, you know. And then I got cut from my team, which kind of let me know that the NFL wasn't for me. I got cut from my football team, and it sucked, but it just let me know that I had to focus on academics. And then I came here and played American football. I was pretty decent. So, yes, being not the best football player, I could see like, man, if I had the talent, this is where I would have put it. If you might not have the talent to do this, but I can get the best out of you. So that's, that's how I do it. That's how it happens sometimes. Topside said Mourinho from Barcelona's translated to the special one. Yeah, man. And sometimes you just need an opportunity to shine. And I feel like, I got that here in the UK. I got an opportunity. I played for the University of Southampton defensive tackle. Then I became, the co-D-line coach. Then I became the O-line coach. Then I was the offensive coordinator. I was the D-line coach for Royal Navy. I was a player for the Portsmouth Dreadnoughts. And I've had an opportunity. I had to give football up, though. One, to do this, but also because it was just damaging me. My knees. At 33, you get to a point where, especially, I've been playing sport and doing, sport for a long time. Even though, like I said, it's not at the highest level. When you hit 33, you hit your 30s, and you don't realize it. You don't realize, sometimes, when you're an older person and you haven't played, top level sport, you watch those guys and you're like, how are they slowing so much down, down so much at 30, at 31? But, bro, I knew that it was time for me to retire. My last season with the Dreadnoughts, I played defensive tackle. I ain't the fastest dude on the pitch anyway. But my last season, there was a game where I just felt that I could not catch up. I just couldn't catch up. It didn't matter what angle I took. It didn't matter, which hole I hit. I just couldn't catch the running back. And he wasn't that fast, bro. But I was just always a step too slow, step behind the linebacker. And as a defensive tackle, you should be the first one in there, bro. You should be the first one making it. It felt like I was running in quicksand. And I remember the last game, I was like, that's it. And someone asked me, it's like, are you coming back next year? I said, I can't. I can't. It's it for me. Like Jack said, the battery was it was gone. And it sucks, man. It sucks. Because it's not like we're playing NFL. We're playing semi-pro. You know what I'm saying? So it just got to the point. And then not only was I a step slow, but after the match as well, I'd sit there and I'd be in pain. My knees were hurting, my legs were hurting. And that last game, bro, the running back, big dude. And I caught him one time, but the rest of the time, I just felt like I was just running in slow motion. And I was like, yep. That's it. That's it. It sucked, but that was it. And I said, I'm going to coach. And I coached. That's what I did. So, yeah, man. It's one of those things that unless you're an athlete, I could still play a lot of people still play Sunday League. I probably still play flag. But trying to be a defensive tackle with kind of my knees, no. It was it for me. I realized that, the time had come. So, it sucked, but I had to hang it up. Quadra said, can you imagine Andre Alberta bringing in Harry Maguire on the free? No, I don't want Harry Maguire anywhere near. No, thank you. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. The battery is drained. Yep. Leave the game before the game leaves you. Exactly. But I have enough knowledge to coach, and I think I feel a little bit more. I feel better with my decision leaving to coach than sticking around. Jack said recovery time is much longer as you grow older. Pain for 3 or 4 days. But yeah, man, I'm taking ibuprofen. I'm waddling around the office, and in my younger years, I was playing a lot of sport. I in high school I played football, I played baseball, and then I'm from Miami, so I'm running the streets as well. Not doing like hood stuff, but you know, when being a kid in Miami, you just like, bro, what you doing this weekend? All right, we take the bike, we go down. I'm on 84th Street. We'll go down to 95th Street and hang out. You know what I'm saying? I'm biking everywhere. Like I'm running places. We chilling in the cut. So being a kid, I'm just running the streets. I'm doing everything. I'm active. And that just doing everything. And then you get to a point where it's just kind of like you continue to play sports. You continue to do this. You can continue to be active. And then your knees say, hey, man, calm that down. Enough is enough. So, yeah, that's where I got to, man. My knees said, whoa, Nelly, it's over. It's over. So, I listened. And I'm glad that, I listened before it got worse. Big up AFC 87 always. If you just popped in here, as I said, it's a free-for-all. For the next 15, 20 minutes, you can ask anything you want. Put it in the comments. I've just been going down and waffling and asking questions because that's what we do here at the Waffle House. Jack said, it's a wrap when you're taking ibuprofen. Bro, ibuprofen, you're wrapping your knee, your arms, your legs, your knees up. You asking people like, hey, do you got some heat wrap? Like you taping your ankles. Yeah, bro, if you have less skin showing, and you don't have like long sleeves, but you wrapping everything up, it's a wrap for you. It's over. It's over. Just let it go. Let it go. Like Elsa, let it go. Let it go. Just go. And that's where, bro, I'm wearing, and I had the boots. Earlier. Bro, I'm wearing the Under Armour. I'm gonna show you the Under Armour high top joints. I'm wearing those and still wrapping my ankles, bro. It was over. It was a wrap. It was. What do they call Under Armour high top? What are they called? Highlights. That's what they call Under Armour highlight. I'm gonna see if y'all can see them. Them right there. Them things look like snow boots, right? I'm wearing those. I'm wrapping the ankle on those. Bro, big up Topside. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. SC always said next Sunday is more massive in terms of us winning our first trophy to see. It is. It's 100% massive, man. It's 100% massive because I think it changed. It not only changes the trajectory of the season, it also changes the mindset of the players going forward. Because once you win that first trophy, you know that you can win more. Once you get over the line, and it's that euphoria that you get, right? You look at some of the best teams in professional sports. If they have the mindset, they usually repeat. The Golden State Warriors, the Heat. You got to have the talent as well. Kansas City Chiefs, the Patriots. Patriots are a good example, right? You've got the Patriots. They win the first couple Super Bowls. Then they go that long period without winning anything. And once they found out how to win it again, they just kept winning. They kept winning it again and win. I watched them win 6 Super Bowls before I watched my team win 1. You know what I'm saying? So that winning begets winning. But this group of players, right? We always talk about the FA Cup. But how many people from this group of players played in that FA Cup? 2? 2 might have been around. Martinelli and Saka. So you look at that and it's like, thanks, AFC. Appreciate the sub. But you look at those 2 players, and what you got a squad of what? 20? 25? So 2 of 25 know what it feels like to win a trophy. These guys don't know what it feels like, and you can say the Community Shield, but it's not. He said Saka was on the, but he was in the squad though. They were in the whole squad, so they're the only one who knows what it looked like to win a trophy at the Arsenal. Is what I was getting at. But yeah, nobody knows how it feels. You know, the Community Shield it's yeah, it's a trophy, but it's not really a big one. It's not one that you win in the season. It's not one that has stakes in it. You know, you get in there for winning. So it's basically like a glorified Super Cup, but not really. So none of these players know what it feels like to get over the line. And everyone says, "Oh, but we won the FA Cup." Them players are gone. They're done. It's the same thing that I'm dealing with the Heat. Like they're talking about, you know, when we got to the bubble championship. Them players gone, bro. Jimmy Buckets is gone. He ain't coming over the horizon. You know, a lot of them dudes are gone. Bam is probably one of the few that's still around. You know, you don't got Udonis Haslem no more. Dwayne Wade ain't coming back. Like, you have to find a way to win. And these guys haven't gotten there yet. So, yeah, you've got to. Let me read some of the comments. Topside say you got to bounce. I appreciate it. I appreciate Topside for coming over. I hope you enjoyed it. I really do. Coming to the game wrapped like a, yeah, bro. In white tape, just walk around like this, right? Trying to do a spin move, but you can't move your elbow because it's wrapped up. Like, nah, bro. Just up to China, appreciate it. Saka was on you, sub, read that. Saka was on the bench, won the FA Cup. If this group of players don't win the Carabao Cup, it is a mentality thing. It is a mentality thing. We have the talent. When you look across our team, we have the talent to win anything and everything. If you had asked me, bro, when I joined this club, when I joined this glorious club, you know, let's do that. I got time. We waffling. Let's see if I can pull up the 20. I'll go 2015, 2016. I want to do side-by-side comparison. We'll do it in the chat. I'll read you some of the names. ESPN UK is going to do it. There we go. All right. And I love ESPN because they've done it by actual positions. So as a goalkeeper, you've got Petr Cech, you got David Ospina, you've got Matt Macy. Now that Petr Cech, would I take him over David Raya? Probably not. He was past it. He was still decent, but he was past it. David Ospina over Kepa. Hit or miss. Let's call it a draw. So I think Kepa has great. I mean, Kepa won the Champions League, didn't he? So you might have to take Kepa. Matt Macy and I think what's our guy? Tommy Satford. Even, you know, neither one of them. So you look at that, right? Our outfield players, Thomas Rosicky, I would take him on the squad, you know, if he was healthy. Christian Bielik, Ismail Benacer, and these are before these guys got, like, big as well. Chris Willock. Wow, they named the whole thing. They've just done outfield players. They haven't actually done it by, whatchamacallit. Okay. Well, that's not really helpful. All right, so let's go defenders. Christian Bielik. Christian Bielik, Callum Chambers, Kieran Gibbs, Carl Jenkinson. Yeah, I take our defenders over those dudes. Per Mertesacker, I take Gabriel over him. Gabriel Paulista. Well, I take our Gabriel over that Gabriel, and then I take Saliba over Per Mertesacker, even though I thought Per Mertesacker was pretty decent. Hector Bellerin. You know what? I would actually use Hecky B on this squad. Koscielny. Yeah, I'm not taking any of my defenders over Koscielny. Any of my center backs over Koscielny. And I thought Koscielny was good, but I don't think he's, our guy. So you got Rosicky. Rosicky could probably get in the team. Benacer, Chris Willett, Ben Sheaf, Rand Adelaide, Mikel Arteta. No. Jack Wilshere. Now, I take Jack Wilshere. Jack Wilshere, a healthy Jack Wilshere, definitely getting the squad. Serge Gnabry. But he wasn't the Serge Gnabry that he became. But, yeah, we could definitely use the Serge Gnabry. Flamini, Coquelin, El Nini, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Santi Cazorla, yes. Mesut Ozil, I'd take. Aaron Ramsey, Giroud, Alexis, Joe Campbell, Danny Welbeck, Alex Iwobi. You look at that squad. Actually, you look at that squad, you're like, dang, why didn't we win anything? But you look at that squad, and you look at it, and I think this squad is comparable or better. Are there some players that we have, when it comes to our attackers, that attack was better. Because, Alexis Sanchez, Mesut Ozil, Aaron Ramsey, I take Aaron Ramsey over Martin Odegaard right now. I would take Mesut Ozil over Martin Odegaard. I take Alexis Sanchez over both wingers together. Saka's on the bench. Oh, I read that. If this group of players don't win, I read that one. I would drop Saka for the Carabao Cup final. Star Diamond has a rep and that brings something different. Yeah. Like I said when Tony was in here, if you're good enough to play, you play, bro. You're good enough to play. We can do that, but I need Mikel to know when it's not going right and to make a change. That's what I need him to do. I need him to know, to recognize it's not going to plan. And he did that yesterday. He realized that, we still had a little bit of time, and then he said, I've got to change something, and he changed it. I feel like he changed it a little bit late, but maybe that was, what he was deciding to do. But that's what you need to do. So if you're gonna have Dauman out there, and I agree with Jack. I think Dauman off the bench is better than starting him. Keep it special. Something that helped Dauman as well is tired legs. And what I would do, my opinion, if I was in charge, you start with Martinelli and Madueke. Madueke, and I would actually start with Gabriel Jesus up top. Because what I would do to City in the beginning is run them ragged. I would run at them and run at them. Run at them with everything I got. I'd even think about putting MLS in there and just say, listen, for 45 minutes, I want you to run them ragged. Run them until they can't run anymore. If we score, great. If we don't, keep running at them. Just go, 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 go. And then later on in the match, you say, all right, now I'm putting Gyökeres to go take him out. I'm going to put maybe Saka out there, maybe Dauman out there, and then go finish them off, right? That's what I'd like to see. Because that City back line, yeah, they got Gahey, that City back line ain't that great, bro. And as we saw at West Ham, they can be got at. And I think if we knock them off early, they will have chances. But one thing that I can say, I trust my center back pairing, and my defensive line to keep Erling Haaland quiet. We've done it more than once. Will Haaland pop up with a goal? Yes. But if we can score too early, that's the only goal he's getting, and they're not getting much more than that, right? On our day, we can stifle anybody. We've seen it. We stifled Bayern Munich, and then they went and smashed Atalanta. On our day, we can stifle anybody defensively. The issue is attacking. And I think our best thing with attacking is running them ragged, stifling them defensively, and then, as Arteta did yesterday, throwing some fresh legs out there, going for it, and just putting them to the sword. Because Everton couldn't keep up. They couldn't keep up with Max Dauman, man. That guy was running. He was running the fullbacks ragged, right? And as you said, Martinelli was doing the same. Like, and that's what you needed. You just needed to get there. And he got the cross. He got the assist. He should have got the assist, but Nkapia technically gets it because it's bounced off his junk. But yeah, bro, it's. I'd like to see that. I like to see the change. I like to see them go for it. I want to see us go for it. But I will do a preview, and if you guys are around, we'll do that. We'll talk about it. Yeah, I think we got 2 more games. We got 2 more games in the month of March, and I think they're 2 of our biggest games of the season. For not only for our silverware, but for our confidence. Because we went 1-1. We had kind of a stinker away from home against Leverkusen, where we should have probably put that away. And we did it. And now, if we put them away, I think if we win and we make it to the next round of Champions League, then that Carabao Cup final, we go for it. We say, you know what? We turned this around, and now we're taking them out. And I feel like you have to. You have to want to take them out, right? Because Pep's running on borrowed time. It looks like Pep's running on borrowed time. They not winning Champions League. Real Madrid has smacked them around. Unless they turn it around and they get 3 goals at home. But I don't know. I would like them to. I would honestly like a Man City comeback in the Champions League. I would love it. I would love it if they actually came back. Because the more matches they have, the more opportunity for us to win the league. But regardless of what happens, they're gonna rest. I think that Pep's probably gonna rest players and then go for it in the Carabao. But we can stop Man City from winning silverware. Full stop. They're not gonna win the Champions League because Real Madrid gonna knock them out. We beat them in the Carabao Cup. Then all they've got is the league. Are they still in the FA Cup? Probably. So Pep's only got 1 cup. And if Pep can't win the league or the Champions League, then I don't think he'll care about the domestics. Even if they win the Carabao Cup, I don't think he cares. I think he wants to win the big trophy. And it's fair because that means 2 years in a row you ain't win nothing. You didn't win the Champions League last year. You didn't win the league. You lost to Liverpool. You watched Newcastle and Crystal Palace win trophies on your watch. So 2 years in a row not winning anything? Will we see Pep go? I tell you, got the subs right. Fair play to him. And I said that. I said that earlier in the stream. You have to give him credit when he does something right. You can criticize him when he does something wrong. But being there at the stadium, I thought he got it spot on. Nkapia, or Diamond plays with no fear. Agreed. It's because he's young. I used to play with no fear when I was young too, and then my knees caught up. Nkapia, Mosquera, Gabby, and Saliba will shut down Holland. I believe so. Honestly, do. I believe so. I like the look of Nkapia. I think he has that South American, Central American spirit, where he just doesn't take mess off of anybody, and I love it. I love it. I hope we face either West Ham United or Leeds United in the FA Cup semifinal at Wembley. Yeah. I don't know. You'd probably want to play West Ham because I think they would put all their eggs on staying in the league, and I think that side, would West Ham want to go down to the championship but still be in Europe or stay in the league? So yeah, Leeds is probably safe, so might be a harder game. Surely we can't blow it from here. Half my life I've been waiting for this moment. And I've been waiting 10 years, which doesn't seem like that much to you, AFC always. But when I joined this club, we were in the banter era. AFTV was at full swing. I was watching Leicester, win the league. I was watching us get blown out by Bayern Munich. In the Champions League, I was watching us, go down to the Europa League and not winning it. So yeah, I've been waiting. I've not as long as you, but I know what that feels like, man. Because I've been in this country. I've been in England for 7 years. I've seen Portsmouth have a trophy parade. I've seen Crystal Palace have a trophy parade. I've seen Newcastle have a trophy parade. I still have yet to see Arsenal have a trophy parade. Yes, we won the FA Cup. We didn't have a parade because of COVID. So I've been in this country. I've yet to spend my annual leave day to say I'm going to the championship parade for Arsenal. I want to, bro. I want so badly to do that. I want so badly to see my captain, see my players just doing this, and just lose my mind drinking and having a good time. I want so much to do that. And I know you do. I know, like I said earlier, there's a generation of Arsenal fans who've never seen the team win. I mean, there's guys who were probably born in the year 2000, too young to remember the Invincible season. There are guys who were born in 2003, never seen Arsenal win everything. And you think about that, right? If you were born in 2003, how old are you now? 23? You've literally been born and are now an adult and still have yet to see Arsenal win the Prem. You've seen Manchester United do it. You've seen Liverpool do it. You've seen Chelsea do it. You've seen City do it. And everybody's rating me. Have I been on that long? Jeez. Thank you, Latvia and Gooner. I appreciate it. I think I've gotten 3 raids while I've been sitting here. This is what the Waffle House does. Thank you, Latvia and Gooner. I appreciate it. But yeah, this is what the Waffle House does. We've been on here so long, we've had like 2 or 3 raids. Just because we sitting here waffling, man. That's it. That's all we doing. We're having a good time. So if you're new in here, if you've just come in here from the raid, this is... Hey, what's up, Prone? If you're new in here, this is the Waffle House. We've just been speaking about pretty much everything. That's what the Waffle House is. It's not just Arsenal centered. It's everything centered. It's my Ask Me Anything show. So if you're just new in here, and you're wondering who I am the Gooner Rican, obviously. From Miami. I'm an Arsenal fan, as well as the fan of the teams behind me. If you have any questions, now's the time to do it. I've been on for 2 hours. I've been saying for about an hour and a half that I will stay on as long as people ask me questions, as long as people talking to me, I'll stay on. But I probably will go around 9:45 my time, which is another about 40 minutes, because I do have to get up for work tomorrow. So, prone with the jokes. Yes, who are you? You know who I am. I'm Gooner Rican. I am an Arsenal fan of nearly a decade now, who is yet to see a trophy. And by trophy, I mean the title. I have seen the FA Cup, which was great. But, yeah, man, I moved from the U.S. to the U.K. To study, and went to University of Southampton. Studied, decided I'd stay, and now I do YouTube, watch Arsenal, and when I can, I coach on the side as well. Let's look at some of the comments. Are you Arteta in? Yes, Arteta in the bin after the season. So yes, I would. I would love to see Arteta win something and then ride off into the sunset. And then in about 10 years, I'll say, man, you remember that time Arteta was our manager? It was such a great time. Yeah, we won the quad. Forgetting that it took us 7 years and we got dumped out of pretty much everything before that. But yeah, I'm that shameless. Yeah, big up Latvia and Gooner as well. I've seen Arsenal win 5 league titles, 9 FA Cups, 2 League Cups, 1 Cup Winners' Cup, and 2 double. Jesus. You've seen more trophies with Arsenal than I've seen with the entirety of my sports teams for my life. So, yeah. Tough, ain't it? It's tough, man. It's tough. I have not. I have not. Let's see. 3 with Miami. 2 with Florida. No, 1 with Florida. 1 with the Hurricanes. Yeah, man. I'm at 5. I'm at 5 that I can think of. Oh, 7. Because these lot 1, 2. And actually watched those as well. I stayed up to watch these lot win because I needed to see a trophy, Stanley Cup. But yeah, man, you've seen who is my favorite manager? Are we talking about just football, or are you talking about in sports? In football, my favorite manager in the world. Oh, football. Okay. Because if it was favorite manager, like of any sport, like favorite coach, in any sport, it would probably be, and I'll answer football in a minute. It'd probably be Pat Riley. Pat Riley was, I'm pretty sure he was the coach of the Heat the first time I'd ever seen them win, and the guy's smooth. He's just a winner. He's always been a winner. He's pretty much structured the Miami sports team. You know, I was too young to see Don Shula. And some of the other guys, but yeah, in world football, probably Wenger, man. To be honest, even though we weren't winning, I always got excitement watching Arsenal. You know, even though we finished in 4th, I felt like it was always exciting watching us. It had to be Wenger for me. Although I do like, I like Ancelotti as well. You know who I like, man? I like Diego Simeone. I like Diego Simeone because he's just a wild man. Like he's a madman, bro. Like, and I like that. I like managers with passion, but managers who win. And I liked Mourinho before, you know, his comments, but with Simeone, there's something about being a madman but also winning, right? And this guy took titles off of some of the best Real Madrid and Barcelona sides we've ever seen. And he took titles off of them. And he's a raucous guy, but that feeds into his team. Like Atletico Madrid, and I have Atletico Madrid kit in there. They don't always play the prettiest football, but they're gonna be tough. They're gonna be hard to beat. They're not just gonna roll over, and that comes from him, and that's why I like him. But Wenger, man, Wenger ball, amazing. Ancelotti with Real Madrid, yeah. Zidane's Real Madrid was also good as well, but and I would say pre Arsenal Unai Emery, because Unai Emery's Sevilla teams were amazing as well, man. I love the Sevilla teams. You know, we had Carlos Bacca, Steven Nzonzi, Beto in goal. You know, Koke was the captain. Like, I like Carlos Bacca, man. I liked him. Carlito. I used to call him Carlito. But, yeah, man. Unai Emery was, before the whole Sevilla thing, because I was living in Seville. Well, I was living near Seville. I was living in Spain. And, yeah. AC Milan manager, 1985 to 89. Forgot his name. It was a bad evening for Emery today. Let me go back. So I've been a fan since 1989. So, Pro, if you've been a fan since 1989, did you actually see the 89 comeback? Was that something you witnessed? I've been supporting Arsenal since 1987. My first ever trophy was Arsenal beating Liverpool in the League Cup final, 1987. Wow, I wasn't even born then. I was born in 93. I'm young. It was a bad evening for Emery. Yeah, you know what though? Going on to the Emery thing, right? Emery's a European mid-cup manager. Like he's a top 4 in the middle European Cup type manager. Because even with Sevilla, right? Sevilla would win the Europa League, and then we get into the Champions League, and then just finish good enough to get dumped back into the Europa League. And then we win the Europa League again. Like, we could never actually just make it to the Champions League and win that. It was just always, all right, we've made the Champions League. Now we getting dumped out into the Europa League. Now let's go win the Europa League. And then in the league, he'd always have, like, you'd start off good and then you kind of fade. Like, there were times where I thought, it was Barca, Real, and then I thought, like, oh, maybe we can pip Atletico, maybe we can pip Villarreal. But then you end up finishing 4th or 5th, but you win Europa League, so you're just like, I don't care, right? And I think that's what's pretty much happening at Villa. Like, I think Villa will finish probably 4th or 5th-ish. I think they'll finish 5th or 6th. Let's say 5th or 6th, because I think from what I've seen today, I think the top 4 will be. Ooh, they might finish 4th or 5th actually, because I think the top 4 will be us, City, United, and possibly them, and then Liverpool, because Liverpool don't look like they actually want it. But yeah, I think he finished 4th or 5th, but I think they'll end up where they are in the Europa League. How well do they do? Because obviously I don't watch those competitions because we're in the big boy competition. But they lost, bro. Oof. So they are up 1-0 against Lille, and they're coming back to Villa Park. Yeah, I think they'll get through. So I think Villa actually have a chance to win the Europa League. And if they win the Europa League, they'll probably finish 4th, 5th, win the Europa League. And to them, he'll be amazing. But the fall off is kind of interesting, bro, because, Villa, in the beginning, they were flying, and now they aren't anymore. But Emery knows how to use strikers. Yeah, we watched Aubameyang. I often wonder if we had given Unai Emery the same amount of time and resources that we gave Mikel Arteta, would we have won more? Because we made it to a final. Granted, we did get bopped up off the park, but our defense was awful. If we had gotten the defenders we have now with Unai Emery, would we have been better? Who knows? And I didn't skip over this, but go and get Enrique in the summer, AFC always said, and I agree. I would. This is the thing, right? Even if, as an owner, what would you do in that situation? Because you've been asking for this guy to go win, and he's done it. Would you give him another contract? Would you say, prove to me you can do it again, or we'll get somebody else in? I don't think that's how ruthless they're going to be. I don't think they would sack him if he won the double. And you shouldn't sack him because he won it. But now you have to prove you can do it again and have to progress. My issue is if Pep leaves Man City and they get hit with, their sanctions and he leaves, Man City will waste no expense in getting a top-level manager like Enrique, like Ancelotti. They won't waste any expense. And my fear is that they will sack, well, not that they will sack, he will walk. Pep Guardiola will walk. And they will get in Enrique. And then Liverpool will slot will sack slot, and then they will get in somebody like an Ancelotti or somebody like. I mean, I don't think Ancelotti would go there because he coached Everton, but they would get somebody like Xabi Alonso. And now, instead of building on what we have and getting a better manager, a more experienced manager, a different style of play to continue, we stick with what we got and they get better and we stay put. Because it doesn't look like we're going to get money. Because they're talking about renovating the stadium. And we all know what that means. When we built the stadium, they didn't give a finger any money. So I doubt they're just going to pump money into us and renovate the stadium. It's not how the Cronkies do business. So basically, it's going to be, we won, and then you're not getting any money. You've got to work with these players next year. They're going to be gassed because most of them going to the World Cup if we do win. If we win the league, most of our players that can go to the World Cup probably are. So now we're coming back after the World Cup. They're going to be on a World Cup low because we've seen players that go to the World Cup, they're exhausted or they get time off and they're a little bit slow coming back. And now we stumbled. We haven't got anybody in. We're stumbling. And meanwhile, Liverpool are flying or City flying. And, you know, we scrape by with a cut. That's what I don't want to happen. But that's just me, gas bag. We don't know. But yeah. So, that's. I'm hoping. I can't think about next year though. And that's, I knew that was coming from. Yeah, their players are going to the World Cup as well. Yeah, I think it'll be even kill. But do you think that we'll actually manage how our players come back from the World Cup well enough to retain or actually challenge for the title? We have trouble. Gyökeres will be fresh. We have trouble rotating now. Problem since you're in here, since we're talking, do you think that Odegaard sticks around? Because I was asked that question as well. I think that we should. I think we should. You know. I think we should see what we can get for Odegaard. I think we should get. No Odegaard going. Yeah, I think we should see Odegaard probably go. I think that Martinelli should probably go. I would keep Trossard because I think of the two, Trossard is probably going to fetch you the least value. I think Martinelli will get you more value, which probably won't me. I hope we get Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes. Really? You actually want him? You want Bruno Fernandes? I mean, I think in this team. You know, it's crazy. If we had Bruno and Sesko in this team, we'd probably be walking the league, to be fair. Because I didn't want Sesko, but the more that I see Sesko, I think that he would have fit our system a little bit better. The only issue I have with Sesko is, bro, if you're scared of Kai Havertz, you probably shouldn't be in the team, bro. To be fair. So yeah. And prone back to your question because I had to Google it. AC Milan's manager, they had two from that time period. Nils Liedholm and Arrigo Sacchi. So I don't know if that which one you were talking about, but that's too early for me. I only, like I said, I started watching football early 2000s, and I was only watching international. Sacchi. What you talking about? Yeah, I was only watching international. I used to watch Mexico. I like Guillermo Ochoa because he had the wild hair. And yeah, he was great. I used to watch Mexico. And Diego Forlan with Uruguay as well. I watched them as well, but yeah, too early for me. I need to do more reading though. That's what I'm doing. I like to do football reading, especially like the Spanish clubs. But I've been doing a lot of Arsenal reading now that I'm on the Arsenal interwebs. I like to learn a little bit more. So I'm reading a lot of player autobiography. Like I've started with Tony Adams. I've got. I want to do Finger's book next, even though I've heard it's kind of, eh. But yeah. He said he's good. He might come to us on a free. Bruno. I mean, yeah. If he came to us, he's got GNA and he's been a captain. He's a little bit whiny, but when he's on your team, you just don't care. So I'm looking at Kvara and Tonali. Bro, we could have gotten Kvara. And I think that if we had gotten Kvara as well, if we had gotten Kvara as well before he went to PSG, I think we would have won the title as well. Bro, he cooked us. So, and that's what he did. He cooked us in the first leg. I was at that first leg as well. And diabolical. If we get Kvara, Tonali, and Alvarez, we would do back to back. Yeah, Alvarez would be great because he's, like I say, he's used to playing the Simeone system of, ugly ball and then getting the chance to put it away. I can't believe City let him walk, bro. It's goofy. He's out of contract in the summer, and there was a story out there linking him to us. Listen, I'm here to upgrade, and would Bruno Fernandes be an upgrade on Martin Odegaard? The Martin Odegaard we've seen for the last 18 months. Yeah, there's a lot of players to be an upgrade on him, to be fair. But yeah, I think we need to upgrade our team. And that's what I was saying earlier in the review. We can't just sit there after, if we win the league. We can't just sit there and say this is good enough. We have to upgrade. The left side needs an upgrade. I mean, Capia has stood in there, but I'd like to see some help for him because I don't think Calafiori is going to stay healthy. The guy is always injured. So I think it's time to upgrade him. We did it with Tamiyasu. He wasn't fit. We got rid of him. I think we need to do that as well. Martinelli needs to go, and we need to get a Leao. As far as our midfield, we need some help. Tonali would be a good... We need some more creativity into midfield. And we need someone who can compete and play with Eza when we need it. And yeah, I'd like the Tonalis, and I'd like, if Bruno's that player. But, I mean, would he go from Manchester United to Arsenal? I mean, I would love it. Bro, imagine if Bruno came from Manchester United to Arsenal and won the league. That'd be our payback for Van Pagan. We took your captain, and we won with him. That'd be great. So, yeah. I mean, we took Eza from Tottenham, and now they in the relegation zone. Couldn't ask for it to happen to a better team. So, yeah. Yeah, it's a Van Pagan, Van Persie. So, yeah. I would like them to, and me personally, I still owe Manchester United for doing the dance floor, Jesse Lingard and Marcus Rashford. I should remember that, doing the dance hall on the Emirates. I think we still owe them from that. But listen, if we win the league, I got a couple Man United guys. They've been very quiet this week. I ain't hear nothing from them dudes. So yeah. It's alright though. It's alright. Cause they won't win anything this season. And we'll win the league. But yeah, we do need to upgrade. If we want to compete. So yeah. Now closing up as I always do. Do you feel confident the Premiership is ours now? Not yet. I'm closer. One, because of the dopamine of me actually going to the match. But I think for me, if we beat City in the Carabao Cup, I think I'll be way more confident about the league. 100%. We beat them in the Carabao Cup because I think they'll be dejected. I think they'll know they can't beat us. If we go and beat them at the Etihad, that's Prom, if we go beat them at the Etihad, that's when I'll be like, it's ours. It's ours. We beat them at the Etihad. I think if we draw at the Etihad, I'll still be like, it's ours. It's ours. We want to win this. We're not going to go down without a fight. And like you said, Prone, I think we showed last game we wanted. And I agree. I said it earlier in my reaction. I was sat there after the first goal when they had a corner, and I said, I was like, bro, I hope they don't equalize. I hope they don't equalize. And instead of them equalizing, Max Dowman scores his first goal ever. And that for me was different, bro. It was different for me because I went from worrying to saying we actually won it. And it was just one moment, one sequence of play. But for me, that's all it takes. All it takes is a couple sequences of play to say we're not rolling over. Mikel Arteta changed the game with Gyökeres coming on. He and not just, and that's what he said. Did you see how the game changed with Gyökeres came on? Yeah. Not only did it change with Gyökeres, he took off Zubimendi and put on another attacker. Like, he took on a midfielder and put on a... Saka was playing in the middle. So, we had Eza, Saka, Dowman, Martinelli, and Gyökeres. That, for me, when that happened... And not only that, he took off... He first took off Jurrien Timber, because I think for an injury, so he put Mosquera on. But then he took off Calafiori and put on Hincapie. And when he did that and he changed those attacking, I said, I can't believe it. He's going for it. I sat there, I said, he's going for it. There's no other way to look at it, right? You're taking on a midfielder. You're telling Declan Rice, hold down the line. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. And we went for it and we got it. We got it. And that's what we wanted. And like you said, I think they wanted it. And like you said as well, Timber is exhausted and Rice. I don't understand why he doesn't trust Norgard. I think yesterday would have been a game for Norgard. The guy captained Brentford. Why did he not play against Everton? That's the level that he's used to playing at. You know, Everton and Brentford were there and thereabouts each other for the last couple of years. So why can't you play him there? I think we see Norgard. I think we may see Norgard on Tuesday. Because he's not going to play in the Carabao Cup final. We know that. But I think we will probably see him on Tuesday. If we score the first couple goals, then we'll definitely see him. But I just don't know why Norgard's not playing. I don't, I called him, Norwegian El Nini. But, I mean, and then he got more playing time, I think, at this point. And then it was getting scraps, but geez. Do you think Kepa plays in the cup final? No. I don't. I think if Mikel Arteta, like I said, I think Pep will look at this and say, this might be the only trophy we win. We ain't winning the Champions League. We don't know what's going to happen in the FA Cup. And it looks like the league is gone. I think Pep would throw out his strongest team. He ain't going to give Mikel Arteta an opportunity. I think Pep throws out his strongest team. So I think Mikel has to respond and throw out his strongest team. And as good as Kepa's been, we appreciate it. You get some FA Cup, you get some FA Cup runs, bro. But isn't it in Kepa's contract to be the cup goalie? Yeah, he can be in the FA Cup, bro. He can be in the FA Cup. I don't know what's in his contract, to be honest. But it's one game, though, and it's the game. Like, you have to put out the best players, in my opinion. It might be hard, but if you're going to put out, this is the thing with the cup runs, right? With the cup runs, you have to have confidence in your back line and your goalkeeper. You have to have some kind of connection. I don't think Kepa has the same connection with the back line that Raya has for obvious reasons. But I think you have to go with strongness. But if he does play, and this is the thing too, I'll be fair. I think Kepa's good enough. I mean, didn't he win the Champions League? So he's good enough to be back there. I just want the best in goal. Like, I want the best in goal and the best in defense. Because I want to win it. I want to win. It's something that we haven't won since 1993. So, in my literal lifetime, we haven't won it. So, yeah, we haven't won it since then. And not only that, but City have often used it as a springboard to win other trophies. And if they get it this time, Pep will probably look at it and say, we've rattled them. We might not win the league. We've won this, though. But we'll rattle them enough to make them scared. Kepa is great at pens, though. Yeah. So maybe he will play, Prone. Maybe he will play. I mean, like I said, I want the strongest, but it's not like Kepa's Alex Runnison. He's not. It's almost like I said earlier when I was reading the team. We had Petr Cech, but we also had Ospina. And Ospina wasn't as great as Petr Cech, but he was very serviceable and he did a job. So that's what Kepa would do. It's not like we're putting, Tommy Setford out there, or we're putting Matt Macy out there. Like, Kepa can hold his own. So I would want Raya out there, but if Kepa has a start, I'm fine with that. It's not like putting, if we were talking about defense and you're talking about, putting, taking Saliba out for Carl Jenkinson, then we have an issue. But it's I don't think the step down in quality is enough to be bothered. So, yeah. Jack says the genius of Arteta was ending on a new style of play. Madueke on the left, Saka middle, Dalman right. Everton had not prepared for that change. Yeah, like I said earlier, Everton were tired on their feet. You could see it. You could see that they were getting exhausted. David Moyes threw out some dudes like I didn't even know what their names was, man. And that thing when they make substitutions and they're like, number 97, Jack Jones. Who? Like, and everybody says who. That's what we were saying. I didn't know none of the dudes that was coming on there. So, I think David Moyes kind of ran out of people, and the people that he had on there were kind of, off their legs. So, I think, yeah, I think that it was a good change by Arteta, but I also think that, yeah, bro, it was just we had too much quality for them as well. Kepa's great at pens though, yeah, he is. I hope it doesn't go to pens. My heart can't take that. My pen record is, I watch England lose on pens in the Euros, and I still not over it, man. It sucks. Also watched us lose on pens to Sporting Lisbon, and that sucked. So I don't want no penalties, man. Who is my starting 11 in the cup final if everybody's fit? So, taking out contracts that we're talking about. Ryan goal and Copy at left back. Gabriel Saliba, right back Timber. Declan Rice at the 6. Zubimendi and Eberechi Eze. Left wing, Gabriel Jesus. Right wing, Nani Madueke. And up top, Victor Gyökeres. I've put Saka on the bench, one, because his fitness is not my concern, his form is. And same with the left wingers. I think Gabriel Jesus, if you kind of allow him to interweave, would I play Dauman? So what I would do is I would start with that 11, and then near the end, I would put, like, if we were up a goal, let's say, right, or needing a goal, I would put Saka on the left. I would put Dalman on the right, and then I would run at them. So yeah, I would play Dalman. I put him on the right and put Saka on the left. Because Saka likes to cut back. He likes to cut back left. So why not just cut to the byline and whip it across for Gyökeres? And then if I needed to take out Gyökeres, I put in Havertz. Because I know that we like to just spam in crosses to Havertz, even though he don't be there. But yeah, that's what I play in the cup. If Timber's not fit, then obviously I'll put Mascara in there. But with Mascara and Timber, it looks like Timber has been working with Mascara and they've been working together. So because Mascara looked good, man. He looked all right. He's still a little bit shaky, but that's what you expect from a young guy who's coming from Valencia to a new league. Him and Capier coming from Europe into the Prem. I think they've done very well for what we've asked them to do so far. But I think our 11's good enough, man. I'm not scared of Manchester City at all. Haaland, he's gonna. The thing with Haaland is it's just like Gyökeres. Haaland's way better. He said I would play Rice and Norgard in the pivot. Yeah, you can do. Who are you gonna play in front of them? Would you play Eze in front of them? You know what I like to see as well? You just answered it. Eze behind Gyökeres. I like to see Dalman in the 10. If we're going to go there, if we're going to play Rice and Norgard in the pivot, I put Dalman in the middle. And then I put Saka, Madueke, and Gyökeres up top. And then see what can happen. I like to play Saka more on the left. Because he keeps doing the same move. Why don't you just do it on the left-hand side? You're not going to do anything with your right foot anyway. So just head to the byline and go. That's what I like to see. So yeah, that's what I got on that. But I'm gonna close out. But before I do, I always talk about my kits before I close out. I'll play Soccer left, not right. Yep, me too. So this one. Miami Dolphins kit. This is an actual Miami Dolphins kit. Devon Best, he was a wide receiver, I think. I remember he was a wide receiver. But the thing I like about jersey, this is an actual authentic one, like the actual Reebok one with the number, because it's got the 54 on it. And it's got the stitch lettering. The ones they have now have like that printing. It almost looks like the Arsenal printing. But these are actually stitched, and then it's got the kind of holes. As I told you guys with the Zach Thomas one, I love this. Is my favorite Dolphins kit of all time. Right, I love this one. If I could have this in every player that I watch playing it, Ricky Williams. With Ricky Williams, I watched Randy McMichael. Pretty sure he played in this too. Zach Thomas, Jason Taylor. By the way, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm sorry, not kidding. That's interesting. Why Lakers? And I actually have a Lakers jersey. It's Shaq. It's a black Lakers Shaq jersey. My late cousin was a Lakers fan, so I got it for him. You remember Magic Johnson? They ain't that old. I mean, was that Pat Riley? It was Pat Riley. Yeah. I'm not old enough to remember Magic. I know who Magic Johnson is, but I'm not old enough to have watched him play. When I was growing up, we was getting busted in the head by Kobe and Shaq. And then once Shaq came to Miami, we was getting busted just by Kobe and Paul Gasol and Andrew Bynum and them dudes. Like Kobe, listen, Kobe for me is, everybody talks about LeBron I think for me, Kobe was the second greatest player ever. I think Jordan was the greatest. And I think, everybody talks about LeBron. Yeah, he's got his longevity. But I watched LeBron get cramps and he got cramps and just didn't show up for the rest of the series. Right? In Miami. And then he left when the going got tough. Right? That's what I remember of LeBron. And don't get me wrong, I think LeBron is a great player, generational. But I watched Kobe tear his Achilles and still take the free throws. Like, I watched Kobe take some bums to the final. Like, Kobe, and who's that dude? Like, I watched him carry the Lakers to the finals and win. And Jordan even had a tough time doing that. Jordan needed Pippen and Rodman. Like, I remember Kobe just dragging that team along. And so, yeah, Kobe's the second greatest player for me behind Jordan. And then I put LeBron third. But, yeah, Kobe was special, man. And I actually got a pair of Kobe's. Do you remember Larry Bird? Yeah, I know who Larry Bird is. But like I said, that was before me, before my time. Way before my time. Yeah, Rodman, yeah, he was awesome. Rodman was a madman, but that means that it's time for me to go to sleep, my guys. Yeah, Rodman was a madman, but he was good at what he did. He was a bully. He was defensive. He was amazing. He came from that bad boy Piston side, and that's what they needed. They needed a little bit of steel, just somebody who was gritty and did the nasty work. And that's how Jordan was able to do. Jordan Pippen were able to cook. Because you had this just big, nasty, ugly dude. But yeah. Lastly, and not least, this is the Florida Panthers jersey. Adidas. And it's got the hockey sticks. Right? So this is not one of the old ones. This is actually a remake of the old ones. But the reason I like the Panther, because it's different now. But this was one of the first teams I actually remember as a kid. My mom was a sports fan, I think, because she just had all kind of random like sports memorabilia. Like, I don't know why, but yeah, she had this team, that like inaugural team, which I think came in the 90s or whatnot. But this was one of the first jerseys I remember them wearing. So it's like a replica of that. And I just love the Panther. The one they got now, the Panthers like looking to the side. He doesn't look menacing. That looks menacing. That's what they should go back to. And that's like my last rant, I promise, for the night, is logos, man. The one thing that I think has been done terribly is the logos. Like, I get wanting to update, right? So the Dolphins went from this to the new Dolphins logo, right? So if you guys aren't football fans, I'll show it to you because I hate it. I hate it. I hate the logo, bro. I'm not a fan of new logos. Images. So we went from this, as you can see, the Dolphin with the helmet, iconic, to that. That is the Dolphins logo. I absolutely hate it. It looks like somebody made it on Google Gemini. It's absolutely awful, right? And so you see the Florida Panthers logo behind me. This is the inaugural one, the old one, right? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. This is the current Florida Panthers logo, right? Let me see if I can move away. You see that? Which one looks like a menacing hockey team? I rest my case, right? This this is the thing that sports has become. They want to make the logos easier. They want to make them, easy to manufacture. But bro, you've made them soft. Like sports teams are supposed to be. When I see the logo, I'm supposed to be like, look at the Arsenal logo, right? You've got this. I think this is nice. I think it's beautiful, bro. And then you simplified it in that. You don't even have the Victoria Concordia Crescent anymore. You've taken that. And you've just made this thing. And now you don't even use that thing. You don't use it anymore. Because we've been doing the canon. And you don't even use the colors. They've been monochroming it. Right? So you've made it so that it's easy. You've made it so that it's transferable. But you've made it soft. It doesn't look good. I don't like it. It's awful. So yeah, that's how I feel about the logo. All we need is the cannon. Bro, the cannon kits. Every time we just put the cannon, I buy it because I like it. You're like, our cannon is iconic enough. We're the only Gunners in the world of sports. Excuse me. Like you got a million Lion teams. But you say the Gunners, we know who you're talking about. We know who the cannon belongs to. Go back to comments. Rodman, he was awesome. Rodman's daughter's a beast. Yeah, she plays for the U.S. national team. Trinity. So, yeah, I've seen her. Facts, nice to meet you. The old one is the GOAT. Yeah, I like the old logo. Always needs the cannon the same. So yeah, man, I like old stuff. So I always like the that old Arsenal logos. Yeah, it is, man. And it's on Lions, Tigers, Bears. Oh my, how common. Yeah, like how many Lions team can I name? Chelsea, they got a lion on the crest. Aston Villa got a lion on the crest. The Detroit Lions. The Bears, Chicago Bears, California Bears. The Tigers. The Bengals are technically Tigers. LSU Tigers. Like, how many Gunners do you know? One. The Arsenal. Did you know that under the hybrid there's a horse buried under? Is there really? Bad news, Bears. Spurs have yeah, bro. And they're not even the most popular Spurs team. I would argue that San Antonio is more popular. So, yeah. Wow, that's interesting. I just looked it up. It said, yeah. It said that there might be parts of the horse under there. That's crazy. Spurs are going down, bro. Yeah, chicken in the beach ball. That's what it is, bro. Chicken on the beach ball. That's what it is. That's what it looks like to me. Although they're and that's another thing, right? As much as I can't stand them, I looked at them today. That old crest is all right. It has more character to it. Like, if you look at the old crest, it's got the TH at, AC, it's got the things, I guess they're lines up, whatever. They got the actual, the cockerel on there, or the peacock, or whatever it is. And, they have their motto underneath it. Why couldn't they have just modernized that and kept it? Now you just got this chicken on the beach ball. When people see it, they're like, who was that? Like that one dude said, hot spot? What's that? Like, I don't know what that is. Right? And like, this logo is iconic, bro. The dolphin with the helmet. It's got the M on it. It's the Miami Dolphin. That's what it is. The Florida Panther. It's a panther. It's looking at you. Like, this is our motto. Victoria Concordia Crescent. Like, that's our motto. That should be somewhere. You've just, this is all you got. So if you're not even gonna put the motto on there, just take the cannon. We don't need to know it's the Arsenal. We know it's the Arsenal. Yeah, Bro, the Bulls is the most. You don't need to put Chicago Bulls on that logo, bro. Everybody and their mother knows what bull that is from looking at it. There's no question. There's no other bull that looks like it. You can have it in any color you want. People will look at it and say, that's the Chicago Bulls logo. You don't need to write that it's the Bulls. People know. Even the Miami Heat. People know the Miami Heat logo. Because we got the only logo like it. You know, sometimes simple is better if it's too much and you can't print it. But at least, you know, could they have made this with the shield and maybe had Victoria Concordia Crescent going underneath it like that? Maybe. They could have done that, but like you said, the cannon is all it takes, bro. Cannon is all it takes. That's all you need. So, yeah, they make things too simple, and then you get to a point where you just don't need it. You don't need it anymore, bro. I got to ask, are you Trump in? As I said, I'm not going to touch politics, but if you look at my skin color and my disposition, you can answer that question. That's all I'm going to say. I'm Puerto Rican and black. That's the answer to your question, bro. As respectfully as possible. I'm not going to get into it, but you have your answer. So yeah, man, thank you so much for hanging with me. We've been on for 2 hours and 52 minutes, but it has only felt like a little bit as you saw the light flicker, and I'm pretty sure my phone will start vibrating in a minute because my wife needs her time. I try not to get into politics because I'll be on here for another hour. Yeah, it said I'm from Iceland. Yeah, if you know anything about our president's politics, yeah, he doesn't like people that look like me, and that's been quite evidence over his history. Yeah. That's all I'm saying on that, bro. I get it, and that's why I said earlier I do get asked a lot about my president. I'm not a fan of his. Yeah, I'm not a fan of his. I don't like people that judge people based on the color of their skin and not the content of their character. I've had my last bit, and then I promise I'll go. I've had, if it were to be like that, I've had people who look nothing like me treat me better than people who do look like me. I've had people in the UK take me in when they didn't have to. Like I said, I go to Arsenal matches because, a tall guy who looks nothing like me, British through and through, from North London. This, he said, "Do you want to go?" And we stuck up a friendship. I don't judge people based on what they look like. I don't judge people based on as long as you're not a kitty fiddler, or a serial unaliver, then I don't have any problem with you, man. Whether you like my team or not, like, I don't have any issue with you. But yeah, when I talk about Mikel Arteta, I always talk about my president. Like, when people say, "Oh, you have to back Arteta," that you're not an Arsenal fan if you don't back the manager. I don't like my president. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of his. But that doesn't make me any less American. It doesn't make me any less Puerto Rican. Because I don't like the man managing. At the end of the day, I still love my country. I've done a lot for my country. And my country's done a lot for me. So I love it. But that doesn't mean I have to like the guy who's running it. I hope that he does the right thing. And if he doesn't, then I'll criticize. Same thing with Mikel Arteta. I don't have to like that guy. He runs my club. He works for my club. He is a servant of the people. No, I'm not offended. I'm not offended, prone. I'm not. It's just it's something that I don't mind speaking about, but I don't like to speak on him because I was always taught you don't give your time and energy to things that don't matter to you. So he doesn't really matter. I live in the UK. If you ask me about what's going on in the UK, I think they're very similar and goofy. But yeah, I don't get offended prone. It's just I don't feel like giving them my time or energy. So that's why I kind of steer away from politics. Um, but as far as Iceland, I've also been there. I went there now about a year and a half ago with my wife. Took my wife, and I went to. Did I go to the Blue Lagoon? Yeah, Sky Lagoon. They got two. I went to one of the lagoons. I think it's Sky Lagoon because I think the Blue Lagoon's in the middle of the joint, and then Sky Lagoon is like off the water. But I went in there, man. I did like their circuit, bro. They had this pool of water that was freezing, like ice cold, prickly. I stuck my foot in there, and I felt like 1,000 needles had gone through my foot. And I like dipped my bottom in it. I said, nah. I was like, nah. I was like, nope, no, thank you. But I saw the horses on the side, like the horses with the fur. Do they have fur? Like they got like hair on them. But I saw them. They were lovely. I saw the Northern Lights. I went to a museum. Very interesting museum. Prom, you might know it. It is the Phallic Museum. If you know, you know. And I have a different view on phalluses now. I saw things that I probably didn't need to have ever seen in my life, but I have done. So, yeah, I happened across it, and my curiosity got the best of me, and yeah. Although Iceland's expensive, bro. Iceland's expensive. I once, what's the name of that? There's a food place there that starts with an A. It's like a fast food joint. Bro, I spent like £80 in that joint for like 4 people, bro. It's crazy. Excuse me. But yeah, I did the Northern Lights tour on the water. One thing I will say though, driving in Iceland is a beautiful country. It just like for the landscape, the rain, the volcanic bit, it's beautiful. And they had some good sushi, man. I went to a shop and the sushi was good. Like, yeah, I loved it. Reykjavik. I did the Rainbow Road thing, and what's the thing called? The big cathedral. I went and did that. And the views from the top of that, just fantastic. So yeah, I would definitely go back to Iceland, but I would need a couple £1,000 to do so. You have to go east in Iceland, way east. You know what? One day I do want to fly there and actually take a road trip because I think it'll be beautiful. But I just need the money, man, because Iceland's expensive. So once I get settled and I move somewhere nice and I get my I have plans to go back to Iceland. Also want to try. I'm not a fan of fish, but I like trying the local delicacy, and I think they got like whale and puffin. I think is what they have. But I wasn't able to try it because I couldn't find one. But you have to go east. Did you go to the glacier? I don't even want to destroy that name, but I'm gonna say Vatna Yokel. I did not. I want to. See, now I'm gonna Google it. This is what the community is for, everyone. Did you try the shark? So I didn't try the shark in Iceland, but I have had it, and I had it at the Disgusting Food Museum in Malmo, Sweden. They let you try like what's considered this got like shark and the balut and what's it called? A century egg. I googled that. Ooh, I like a waterfall, man. That's nice. We just chilling. Shower sheet? Nah, bro. Nah, shower sheet, bro. No. No, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go back to Iceland once I get settled. But yeah, yeah. Nah, see, I'm all for trying. I'm all for trying random foods, man. But sometimes, Jack said, otherwise known as these nuts. That's from the old days. Nah, I'm all right with trying foods every now and then. My wife is she's not, but yeah, that's what we went to the Disgusting Food Museum and they had a couple samplers. Like I ate crickets, bro. It was crazy. But yeah, I wanted to just try it. I wanted to see what it's like. And it tastes like old crisp, man. That's what it tastes like. But yeah, Prom, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm gonna call it a day because I'm pretty sure my wife we've hit 3 hours, and I'm pretty sure my wife is not too happy with me at this point. Jack, Prom, Joggons even came back. Love it. I like to shout out everybody who stopped by. Who else stopped by? I had a lot of Raiders, AFC always, Latvian Gooner, Quadra, Views, Topside. Who else did we get in here? Tony Clyde. Who else? Godfrey as well. I said Joggons, Quadra, Views. Southside came in here as well. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me for all this time. It's lovely. I'll take the last few questions and then I'll go. My wife is Hornefjorder. It's from Hornefjorder. Fjorder? I see. I've messed that up. From you got me. How was crickets? Yeah, it tastes like old chips. DJB should be live. Your vibe tracks to try and keep up the good work. I think it. So Pro, I don't know how to redirect. I don't know how to do it. I mean, the Vigilante had to help me with getting people to actually come here. So, yeah, if you guys want to go over to DJB and just drop a Gooner Rican raid in there before you go, I appreciate it. But yeah, I have no idea how to redirect. I'm still kind of learning everything. It took me ages to put this whole thing together as well. And I am using OBS, which is actually harder to learn, apparently. Because I did have a spiel on the whole getting StreamYard thing. But yeah, I appreciate it. And Prom, Jack, as you know, I do this every weekend. Gooner Rican was here always, was lurking, listening in the background. Big up, Joggons, I appreciate it. I do this every weekend. I used to do it on weekdays. But I've done the midweek madness because I like to talk about the ops on the weekdays. And on weekends I got more time to chill. I'll just do it. I usually do it around the day we're not playing, just to allow people to just relax and talk about the games and stuff. So it'll probably be next Sunday, and hopefully when we at the Waffle House next time, we're talking about Carabao Cup champions. We're talking about how we're gonna go win the league. We talking about next stage of the Champions League. And we talking about how to dunk on our ops. You know what I'm saying? As usual. But like I always say, man, I hope you guys have a good week. I'll be back midweek. We play on Tuesday, so the midweek Mazda will be on Wednesday. I'll do it kind of early after I get off work. So check out for that. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Hope everything works out for you this week. Hope you have a good week. Hope everything that's going on that you want comes off. And I will see you guys on the flip side, man. As always, take it easy.